What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Big Think Dimension, the only gaming podcast for the modern giga-brain gamer. I'm your host, Dan Video Games, and with me is KZ Excellent from KZExcellent.com. How you doing, buddy?
This podcast looks like a PS2 game.
We also have with us Mr. Field from Mr. Field's Wild Ride. How's it going?
I don't think this podcast meaningfully concludes the plot threads.
We also have Bob.
Guys,
This is from GigaBoots.
I'm not sure what's going on here.
If we're going to conclude the plot threads of this podcast, it's going to have to be 4 hours again.
Remember, at the beginning of this, the third episode of the series, you need to keep in mind, one of these colors you choose, audience, will be very important to the outcome of this podcast. We promise. So,
we will release this podcast in a couple of months with updates. Make sure to look out for it.
At the end, Dan will just be replaced by a child you've never seen before.
Eric.
Please post in the comments which color you chose, so that way next episode can pick up from there.
Do you want to destroy the podcast, control the podcast, or merge everyone with the podcast?
Are you going to make things better with your girlfriend, or dump toxic waste in children's faces?
Are you going to fight three guys or blow up a bunch of impoverished people?
Are you going to stand up for what you believe in, or let the planet die? I love morality systems in video games is what I'm saying here, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us for this podcast. How are you two doing tonight? You two doing all right?
Yes, I took a nap and had some cold brew, so I'm quite robust at the moment.
I actually just had some cold brew too. How about you, KZ?
I had a small nap and I drank a water, so I'm alive.
Oh, nice. Hey, Bob.
What's up?
KZ's that person who, whenever you bring up gamer fuel, he's like, I like water. You drink anything other than water, you're a subhuman.
I mean, if I slept 18 hours a day, I too could drink just water.
I'm going to be honest, that is not my brand. I just didn't want to get up, and this water was here.
Bob prepped for this podcast with some chicken nuggies.
I did.
KZ's like, I better get some food, and he shakes his keyboard out and licks up what falls out.
Oh my God. I mean, there's enough crunch wrap in there.
I have done nothing to you recently, so I don't know why you're doing this.
It's fine. I'll attach this brand to certain other people on your Smash streams.
Okay, fine.
Yeah, that seems
Fine.
fair.
I'm so pumped.
There are many other more deserving people, I feel, but we should
it's gonna be a good Friday.
We should get on to what you guys have been playing. So, hey KZ, what you been playing lately?
All right, so it's exactly the same except for today, because I was doing test stuff. I've played 20 minutes of the new Kingdom Hearts game.
God,
Because you had to buy the Japanese version too, didn't you?
I did. That was in the plans months ago. Not to worry, my fate was sealed, etched into my heart. Holy shit. Just 20 minutes was all I needed to know.
That's good.
So that's positive review. Probably a 9 out of 10.
He's done. This game is trash. He's sending it back.
No, you're right. It's absolutely terrible. It looks insane. Also, it knows how to make the PS4 Pro talk.
Yeah. I mean, God of War did that.
I was like, what the fuck is that? Is there a vac? Oh, fuck. There's a little baby vacuum on my desk.
Yeah.
Just freaking the fuck out.
Think of fucking jets doing donuts overhead.
You put it in, the jet engine kicks in to handle all the Kino.
Yeah, it's true.
Yep.
When Mark Cerny designed the PS4, he designed it for a certain amount of Kino, and unfortunately, Kino Hearts 3 really surpasses that limit.
It really does. I needed to do tests for it so I can upgrade my video quality from 720p to 720p 60.
Such a step up.
Dan just goes silent as he boils in fury.
No, actually, after what was that after? I think that was after the 358 over 2 days stream. I tried to help KZ out with some Vegas stuff.
Of course, your attempt to help me with tech failed.
Yeah,
as it naturally does.
Yeah, for some reason, when we tried to install, and I know this is going to go over some heads, but it's fine if you get it, whatever. When we tried to install X264 video for Windows, it just didn't work on his version of Windows 10, which is weird because I also have Windows 10 and it worked just fine over here. I've never had that problem.
I didn't download any ray tracing, so
yeah, no, that's the real problem. We got to get you one of them RTXs.
Yeah. And some more RAM.
Have you played anything else?
No, just stuff for videos. So
okay.
Nothing different from what we did last week. But maybe I can talk about something next time.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Yes, the same thing we'll all be talking about endlessly.
Yeah, the Anthem beta.
Smash Brothers.
The Anthem beta is pretty exciting.
Yeah, I'm pretty hyped for the Anthem beta.
Yeah,
I'm sure everyone on this
Anthem beta.
podcast is going to be spending a lot of time on the Anthem beta.
I can't wait to get this podcast over with so I can play the Anthem beta.
That's what we're
So
saying.
here's my gamer premonition. The news story
show.
I have about Anthem this week will be more enjoyable than playing the Anthem demo.
You're probably right.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh boy.
But I might pick up the Resident Evil 2 remake, so I'll be able to talk about that for the podcast.
Yeah, that's coming in the mail for me tomorrow.
Yeah, we actually just picked ours up, and we're going to be doing that instead of our Mega Maker Live thing tomorrow, because update 1.5 still isn't out, and there's no sign that it's coming out anytime soon. So we were like, let's just push Mega Maker Friday back to next Friday, and this Friday we can do some Resident Evil 2 remake.
You get to have fun.
Normally I poll the audience for these sort of things, where I'm like, hey, which do you guys want to do? Or do you want Mega Maker or Resident Evil 2?
Let Bob have this.
Actually, it's more for me, if you must know. Resident Evil 2 is like my favorite Resident Evil.
Dan is just like, I watched Kick-Assia this week. We're playing RE2.
Give me this, audience! Let me have this one thing. Just let me live. Why won't you let me live?
My favorite thing about the Kick-Assia thing was someone asked, like, what's that show you're doing next week? And I'm like, we're gonna watch something really bad and then react to it and then do a podcast about it. And they're like, cool, you'll be the next Nostalgia Critics. And I'm like, you're very close.
He's done his own movies.
So
I was
close,
just going,
and
you're
yet so
very
far.
close to the subject of this podcast we're doing.
You're very close to Dan finding out where you live.
You're very close to Movie Suit.
So I have the new episode of Cursed Content Club, which you can go listen to right now.
Yep.
Somebody lost their mind at Dan saying that I would rank the chapter Black a -2.
What?
The chapter Black tape is only barely worse than Kick-Assia.
Are you
Man, we make great content. I forgot about that.
It's like,
and then me saying that I would give the tape from The Ring a -2.
his scale's broken because he's imagining so many worse things. He's like, hey, there are only a few war crimes on this
He's like,
tape.
probability.
Oh, man. So that's all you played, KZ. Mr. Feel, what have you played since last week's podcast?
So I played more Tales of Vesperia. It makes me happy in the same way Dragon Quest XI does, where it's like, what if one of these games had a budget?
Whoa.
And
I like me JRPGs with money.
And Vesperia doesn't even have that much money in it, but it's just like so much more care was put into it than basically any JRPG other than Dragon Quest XI in like the past decade.
Yeah.
Because, I love that genre, but it's been rough for a little while.
Thanks, Xbox.
I feel like most genres from the olden days really experienced a rough time. Shooters are really the only thing that thrived super well over the last, 8 years.
But the other game I played is called Nowhere Patrol.
What?
It came out a couple months ago. I bought it then. It's $5 on Steam, and I recommend everybody go buy it. It is a 2D platformer boss rush. It's basically like Alien Soldier.
Oh, cool.
Ooh.
Huh.
I like that game.
I don't know how many bosses it has. I've gotten up to the 8th one, and there's like a progress screen. So I think if there's no twists, like, oh, surprise, there's a couple more or one more, then I think it has 12. But they're enormous screen-filling bosses. It's 2D sprite animation. Most of them have 3 or more forms, and it's a really mechanically simple game, but the mechanics are used in a very, very satisfying way. You have a shot that you can shoot in any direction.
Mm-hmm.
There's multiple shot types, but you pick at the start of your run. You don't switch
Wow.
while playing.
A boss rush pseudo platformer game that's 2D. That sounds like the original idea for Cuphead before people were like, oh, there aren't levels.
Yeah, but it's very similar to Cuphead, but there's also I think it's mechanically better than Cuphead, maybe.
Well, that's good.
So you have a health bar,
Mm-hmm.
and you can take like 4 or 5 hits, and you have a dash that has iframes.
Oh, that's always good.
But there are certain shots you can't dash through because the bosses have almost like bullet hell-esque patterns, and sometimes their shots will be knives, and you can't dash through knives.
Okay.
Huh.
And if you graze the bullets with your dash or just by barely evading them, you get health back.
I like Gray's systems a lot.
This is starting to get to the level of stacked mechanics that are kind of like those Bunny Must Die, that creator's games, where he's like, I like Street Fighter 3. Okay, in this Metroidvania, you can parry. Like that sort of tier.
But if you graze shots, you get health backs, and some bosses have attacks that feel like they're designed for you to get a bunch of health back grazing the shots.
Mm-hmm.
There's also a bomb system. I don't know how you get the bomb. The bombs are stars, and you can hold up to 3, and if you use them while holding, the more you have, the bigger the attack. And you can also use them as like a to clear shots, and that gives you health back too, but I haven't really used that mechanic much.
So does that work kind of like the Golden Axe thing, where you get potions, and the more potions you get, the bigger the spell? Like the better the spell?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's always the same, it's just bigger.
Oh, okay.
But I've only played with the one character, and there's multiple characters and multiple shots, and I think the special changes based on that.
Yeah.
And this is there's no lives. You can try as many times as you want to beat a boss. There's a timer. You're graded at the end, so it's like, okay, you died 100 times. Now try not to die 100 times the next time you play. But if you beat bosses without getting hit, they have altered phases and new phases.
Oh no!
Like if you beat the first boss has 2. If you take a hit on the first boss, he has 2 phases. If you don't, he has 3.
Huh. Like you don't have to replay him to get that. It's just literally he'll go to a certain phase.
Instead of him exploding when you deplete his second life bar, he gets a 3rd life bar.
So that way you have true ending for boss. Okay. That sort of idea.
I have not gotten the no-hit version of anything but the first 2 bosses.
Yeah, that's understandable.
And some of the bosses are kind of a cakewalk. Others are extremely not. Like, there's this one boss that has, like, 6 phases, and it drove me insane, because after his 4th phase, he explodes, and then the terrain you were standing on becomes the second 2 phases.
I really need to see this game. Like, I want to know what it looks like. Is it only available on Steam?
It's only available on Steam right now, I believe. Let me check real quick, but I think it's just Steam at the moment.
All these bosses having an extra phase if you don't get hit activates that insane part of my brain that goes, well, I can't stop until I've seen all of them in order.
Yeah. No.
Well, it has the same
It.
energy as really, really precise games like the Ark of Nepishtim East games, or
that was a word.
Yeah, it sure is a word.
That's how you pronounce it.
Yeah, no,
I don't even think it's a real word.
Yeah,
so
it's not a real word.
It's kind of reminding me of Momodora, how it gave you special weapons if you beat the boss without taking a hit.
And that was really cool in Momodora.
There's none of that, but it's just very, very precise. So if you beat a boss, you'll probably able to every attack a boss does has like a way you dodge it. And if you learn that way, you can dodge it 100% of the time. So it has that appeal where you get good at it and you're just a ninja and never get touched.
Yeah, I do like consistency in boss battles.
And it looks really nice. It's just a really great game, and it's stunningly only $5. Like, come on, that's a Starbucks drink. Just play Nowhere Patrol.
Fuel is begging you, please.
You just turned into a commercial there at the end. It was pretty good.
In the arms of an angel, you too can save an indie game today for only $5.
Every single hour of the day, an indie game is drowned.
Yeah, that's also why I'm bringing this up so strongly, because like this game is good, and I don't want it to drown in the fucking muck swamp of
Steam.
Look at all these Steam hentai games that are completely bloating every category.
Is it something that just came out, or did you find it recently?
I follow some indie devs, and they brought it up, and I'm like, what is this? And I looked at it, and I'm like, oh, this looks really cool. Oh, it's only $5. And I bought it immediately, and it came out in November.
Okay.
I played like an hour of it before yesterday, where I put 3 hours into it.
Nice.
And it's good. It's great. If I hadn't been so tired, I probably would have beaten it.
That looks pretty good. I need to try that out. Did you play anything else this week?
Nope, that's it.
Hey, Bob.
Hey, what's up?
You know what we played this week?
Yeah.
Breakdown.
Breakdown.
See, most people don't know about Breakdown, but that's because they're uncultured swine. Bob, can you tell them about
no.
Breakdown?
Breakdown is a
The fuck is
first-person
Breakdown.
a first-person beat 'em up for the Xbox original.
They give you a gun. It's mostly as a joke.
Yeah, no, they like teach
What?
you how to fight hand to hand, and then they make you fight dudes with guns for a little bit, and you just can't even fist fight people because they'll shoot you to death.
It's pretty
Is
good.
this Xbox's The Bouncer?
No, this game is good.
Whoa,
Oh, okay.
whoa,
Whoa.
Let's not say one game's good, another one isn't. You know, that's not nice.
The breakdown, like the gunplay in it's hilariously bad because they don't even let you aim. You literally you lock
You
onto
use the
enemies
stick to look around, but you push A to lock onto an enemy, and it just wholesale locks onto them, whips your camera at them and everything.
which makes perfect sense for when you're doing melee combat. But shooting,
Uh-huh.
it's just like, oh man, this is
Oh
bad.
man, I keep missing, but I'm not even actually aiming, so I feel like this isn't my fault.
Right, you just have to wildly shoot in the direction of the enemy.
If somebody hands me an Xbox One, that'll be the first thing I get. Is I'll go buy the
Yeah.
digital version of Breakdown.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
it's
it'll-
actually backwards compatible. So on the Xbox One X, it actually plays in 4K.
4K Breakdown.
We got
this
like
fucking-
a original Xbox disc.
And
Yeah.
I know that you have like a Punch Virgil.
Yes,
Yes.
there's a like a villainous other guy you punch. I played all the way through this game back.
back around
When
when
it
it
launched.
came out.
Yeah,
Keep
when
in
it
mind,
came
this
out.
game
Sounds like
came
it's
out.
just God Hand.
This game came out. I would argue it's maybe a bit better than God Hand, but that's a complicated topic. Anyway,
Dan.
Being wrong isn't complicated, Dan.
Breakdown came out in 2003. It's made by Namco Bandai, so a lot of the character models look like a really low rent Time Crisis character models. And they keep doing this thing where if you pick up a gun, it wants you to notice how cool it is, that thing that every video game came to do. So you pick up the gun, your character shoves it in his face and turns it slowly so you can appreciate this incredible 3D model. Yeah.
He does that with hamburgers too. It's
He
great.
does it with hamburgers.
Okay,
The
that's pretty
Xbox
good.
had a
Yeah.
lot of weird Japanese games like this. It had a lot of 8s.
Yes.
Like that one FromSoft made Otogi, which I've heard incredibly good things about but never actually got to play.
Otogi's really interesting.
Bob's here to tell you more incredibly good things about Otogi.
It has deformable environments, so you like
yeah, it has
knock people into 'em
destructible
and-
environments.
yeah, so you could make craters, and you can also just
Blow
destroy
up
literally
houses.
entire houses and everything. It was
Yeah,
it was really
pretty good.
interesting
Yeah.
and really pretty.
And if you think Kingdom Hearts 3's combat is floating, let me tell you about Otogi.
Oh no!
Gravity has no power over you in Otogi.
Ooh.
Xbox got Otogi and PS2 got fucking the Gacked game.
Oh yeah,
Oh.
we've
I
covered
mean-
that on Retro Boots. What was the name of that? Was
It's
it
called Bujingai,
Bujingai,
the Forsaken
yeah.
City.
Yes.
It's on the shelf behind me.
It's
Yeah.
awful. Bujingai is so much worse than Otogi, but Shinobi is also on the PS2, and that's so much better than Otogi.
Yeah, it's true. I feel like people should look forward to our breakdown video, which is going to be giving games a chance. Unfortunately, YouTube decided to not at all process the first upload, so I'm re-uploading it. I don't know.
Nothing's easy.
Nothing's ever easy. It's really fucked up how nothing is ever easy. So maybe this time it'll work, and that'd be great. Bob, have we played anything else?
I tried to play Okami, but then it wouldn't fully install.
Yeah, what happened
So-
was it's on the PS4 Pro, right? So it tells Bob, it says, "Hey, I'm installed. You can boot me." So Bob boots it, and then the continue button is grayed out. And when he tries to select it, it goes, "Oh, I'm not going to let you continue from your save file until I'm fully installed."
There's no progress bar or anything, so I'm just like sitting there. Okay.
I guess I'll go fuck myself. Oh.
I'm surprised you haven't picked it up for the Xbox One X to play in 4K on the OLED.
It plays in
It actually
4K on
plays in
the
4K
PS4
on the
Pro. I'm fine.
PS4 Pro.
I would hope so. It's Okami.
Oh, I did play other thing actually. I forgot to
okay.
mention it because it was forgettable in the face of Nowhere Patrol.
What was it?
I played the Onimusha remaster that came out.
Yeah.
It isn't actually a remaster. It's just an upscale.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, it's that.
It also does not have real 16:9, which I understand.
Yes.
Because a lot of those screens you could not make 16:9 because there's no.
Yeah, there's just
Right.
nothing out there.
Right, the terrain cuts off at a
But
certain point.
I'm fine with them not doing that, but they lie to you
Mm-hmm.
and say we added 16:9. It zooms in.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, they announced that when they talked about it. Like, this is how we did it.
Oh.
It's not great, but it's
Yeah.
here.
No,
I honestly would have preferred it if they just said, if they had shown all 4x3 stuff and then said, if you really want, you can do this.
They should have
Right.
just put on the box pan and scan.
Yes. I was going to ask, it does
Is
have
that
the...
another fake thing?
Pan
You
and
don't know what
scan.
pan and
Raytracing.
scan is?
Dear
Oh my
child,
God.
let me tell you about VHS. Now, VHS was a fucking format before DVD, and when they went to stick widescreen movies on it, where there was important information in the shot on both the left and right side, when they go to make the VHS, they would zoom it to a 4x3 shot, and they would show the left part first, and then pan over to the right, or maybe vice versa. One of the best examples of this I think I ever saw was a copy of Ghostbusters that Bob owned, where it had 3 people on screen, but they took up so much width of the screen that it starts with the left 2 Ghostbusters and then pan and scans to the right to show the third one.
I believe the most famous instance of this is the end to The Graduate. That movie ends with the shot of the 2 actors who, after he gets her out of the wedding, and it's supposed to be, just a wide shot with both of them at one side of the bus, and kind of like seeing their faces as they realize what they've done and how this probably won't work out. So it has this pan back and forth between the 2.
As they're trying to just show a normal facial expression, it's like panning back and forth.
Yeah, no, it's notably rough.
I need to see
Anyway,
that.
the Onimusha, it's fine. It's a good port. I played it on PC,
Oh, that's
so
cool.
I'm sure it's fine everywhere else.
Yeah.
I
PC is
didn't-
most likely ways to screw up.
Yeah.
I didn't look at any of the new features or try any of them, so I don't know if they added analog controls or something.
Yes, they were
For
supposed to
people
have
who
added
have controls.
added analog controls to get rid of those tank controls.
Yeah, they
so
were saying
that's
something
what I was
like
excited
that.
for that.
I'm interested. I'm pretty disappointed that I didn't get to play Travis Strikes Again this week, and I'm also not getting to play the Onimusha thing. But at the same time, Resident Evil 2 just came out again,
Yeah.
and
In less than 96 hours,
fucking Kingdom
Hearts 3
Hearts
will be out.
96.
Ooh.
That doesn't sound like Monday at 6 a.m.
5 a.m. for us.
We're not all lunatics who buy foreign versions.
I
Only
imported
2
my
of them
Kingdom
are in
Hearts
this podcast.
No, it's for business. I can do that.
for the purest Kino. I imported Kingdom Hearts.
Good day, mate. Here's my boomerang. Give me Kingdom Hearts.
Ha!
See,
I put it in
you're-
my kangaroo patch and then went back to my house.
you won't be so smug when you boot up your New Zealand copy of Kingdom Hearts 3 and it's upside down.
Oh,
No, see, what's going to happen is they're going to do another one of those crazy transitions like what happened in Dream Drop Distance when Pete was talking. They're going to do a transition like that, but it's going to be spiral. And in North America, it's going to go clockwise. And in New Zealand, it's going to go counterclockwise.
You're gonna fucking blow my mind. That sounds like something they would do.
Nomura's like, got to be considerate.
They won't
In
understand.
the Australian version, everybody calls Pete Prime Minister.
Very doughy.
So, Bob, is there anything else you played this week that you want to talk about?
No, not really.
Okay, I have some stuff I want to talk about. We invited our friend Fake Aggro down, and we got to play some PlayStation VR games with him, not the least of which was, what was it, 100 Foot Tall Robot Golf?
Yes, that game.
That game is really fucking funny. At least it is when you play as Jeffrey the Giant Skeleton. Because
That's just you.
every other character is a fucking mech, and the whole aesthetic of the game is like weird parody Ava, where Gendo is a thing. But for some reason, one character you can select is just a giant fucking skeleton, and when you go to use your hover boosters, because he doesn't have a jetpack, his eyes just glow and shoot fire out of them as he flies into the sky.
You're selling me on this.
It is really fucking good, especially since they have really dry golf commentators going over it. And they're like, I don't know about you gentlemen, but I am currently rooting for the giant skeleton.
Get the ball in the hole, Shinji, or Ray will have to do it again.
It was always on my radar ever since I saw it announced and went, that's the best title for a video game.
Yeah, see, I was really hyped too. Then we just sort of slept on it. But then I think it was we saw it on sale recently, and since we were getting the PSVR thing anyway, we went ahead and did that. Yeah, no, that game is legitimately funny, which is hard. There aren't too many games I would say are legitimately hilarious, but I was dying. Once again, I have only played as Jeffrey the Giant Skeleton, so that might affect things.
It's on brand.
But yeah, no, that was really good. What else? I already talked about Zone of the Enders 2. By the way, my friend Fake Aggro, he played the Ace Combat 7 demo, and apparently it doesn't end after a timer. It ends after you get fucking wrecked. So that's why I kept having the demo end after a very short period of time when I was playing. I am not good at Ace Combat 7.
Luckily, we got an Ace Combat Pro.
You sound like certain reviewers for Ace Combat.
Oh, God.
But yeah, luckily Fake Aggro actually is really good at Ace Combat. So he got in the VR headset. It was his first fucking game he even played with that headset on, and he was doing really damn well.
Highway to the Danger Zone just started playing out of nowhere.
Yeah.
It wasn't even built into the game.
Yeah, he just put his phone in his pocket and clicked the button and just started playing.
He just has a cassette tape he
has
carries with him.
He has a fucking tape recorder.
And then the three of you went to the beach and played volleyball.
Shirtless.
No
and
other
Eric
way?
was there. Good. Now you're all imagining that.
And Dan had
shirtless.
sunglasses on.
Dan shirtless with those shades that I keep getting photoshopped onto me. Twitter's a hell of a
Magnum
ride, you
Dan.
guys. Magnum Dan. I gotta get to the bottom of this mystery.
He's gonna crack this case.
But I can't think of anything else we played. Most of it's just hype for Resident Evil 2 Remaster, which we have installing right now. And the Anthem beta. I think everyone on this podcast is really excited for the Anthem beta.
Yeah, it's not some weird joke or anything.
Right.
Do I have to pre-order that for access to it?
There are ways, I feel.
You can do the dumb thing and go give EA all your money. Or you can go to some store and pre-order it and then get your money back if you don't like it.
Yeah, because, you don't have to...
I did that for Street Fighter 5.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is the weirdest thing about all these, YouTube rant videos about pre-order culture. It's like, you could get the money back, right? You could literally pre-order it, get the thing from it, come back the next time you're naturally going to come back. Come back the next time you're naturally going to come back and just cancel the pre-order. They're not going to be like... They're not going to call you and keep calling you like a debt collector and be like, go get your Street Fighter.
Gamers, rise up.
But Dan,
What?
these are the same people that say things like, don't pre-order games because you don't know if it'll be good, because they are incapable of looking at footage and knowing if a game will be good or not.
I mean, I'm starting to realize that's basically everyone, and that's horrifying.
I remembered I played something else, Dan.
Oh, what else did you play?
I played
Bob?
Jump Force.
Oh, you played
God,
Jump
no.
Force.
I played the
That
Jump
game looks
Force demo.
cool.
Yeah,
that game is
I
very
think
realistic.
It and Anthem are going to be the games of the season.
Yeah, the games of the year.
That's anime's anthem.
Jump Force is the perfect opportunity to bring up Bob and I's new project where we talk about Bleach.
Oh, no! Strangely,
Good job, Bob.
it does have Ichigo in his final form that was only for 2 chapters or something. Like during the final fight.
And
It's
achieved
raw.
nothing.
Yes,
It's
it
raw,
achieved
though.
nothing.
God damn it.
It's
Please don't start a
It's
Bleach
gr-
podcast.
I don't want to
It's
start
gr-
a Bleach, guys.
You're gonna have at least one angry comment in here.
$3,500 on the Patreon.
We will talk about Bleach as much as you want at that point.
Oh my god. Speaking of which, we should bring up that this week, it's not a game. You can talk about Jump Force after this,
Sure.
otherwise I'm going to forget it, I'm sure. We did start the GigaBoots podcast Patreon. The reason why it has its own Patreon is because, of course, we're always collaborating with people to do these podcasts, and they do take a ton of editing. So we appreciate everyone's support. We've got an overwhelming amount of support from that, and we really appreciate it. Also, we got some pretty good rewards. If you want to check it out, it's going to be in the description for this video, so go check it out. And we have a thing where that's going to come up again later. But Bob, go ahead and talk about Jump Force.
Jump Force feels really clunky.
No way!
And also, it runs really badly.
You're blowing my fucking mind.
No, it runs badly. Oh,
I know.
But
I
Unreal
mean, everyone
Engine.
knew it was going to be ugly, but you'd think they could have priorities to get things running well.
How's the input lag?
It's probably terrible.
So during the last beta,
Yeah.
someone discovered that multiple characters have supers that are unsafe on hit.
What?
Yeah.
What? How do you do that?
The recovery after the character hits with their super is so long that the other person comes out of hit stun and can hit them back before they finish.
They got to look cool, okay?
Oh, you did your super. Time to punish you for hitting with it.
I think the weirdest part of that is they went through the trouble of like super trying to appeal to the most mainstream audience, and they couldn't get the English voice acting for anything. I don't get it.
That is incredibly bizarre.
Yeah, no, that's some real Arxis
Maybe
shit.
it's just not done yet, and it'll be in the final.
I'm doubting it. I feel like if it was going to be in there at all, they would have done it by now.
Given the amount of series they're covering, I don't think they will. It looks like they're trying to do the, what was it, like Jump? Well, like, what was the last Shonen Jump, like, PS4 Arena Fighter?
oh,
Feels
that
like
was
they're just doing that.
J-Stars Ultimate, I think.
Yeah, but no one cared because it
But-
wasn't
but
hyper
this-
realistic.
Yeah, but
this
this has
one-
a Western skin. That's basically what this is. So
Yeah.
that's why I wasn't expecting a dub at all.
But the whole point of it being that fucking ugly was to apply to the ignorant Americans.
Yeah,
And-
this is all the effort they're doing for it.
The amazing thing is KZ started with what was the last Shonen Jump game, and my brain just goes, do you know the Dragon Ball Naruto One Piece game on the PS2?
You got it, Dan.
Now, there's been a bunch since then.
we know.
to
I'm
dust.
sure, but I haven't seen them, so they don't exist.
I actually had that Jump or J-Stars Victory Versus in this house, Dan.
I know. I don't know how it looks when played. It doesn't exist.
It's gonna look. I imagine it'll be exactly like Jump Force, except it runs better and looks nicer.
I don't know about looks nicer because
Oh no, J-Star Victory Versus is also really rough.
yeah.
I have that J-Stars game. We can do video out of that. We can do matches.
I had to repick it up
Does
because,
the-
oh god, I traded that in.
Does the English version have any of the music? Because I remember the Japanese version had the peasant version that had no music, and then it had the rich boy version that had all the OP songs.
I did not know about that. I have no idea.
Bamco loves doing that.
You know, Bob,
Every Japanese company does when Kamen Rider Bat Ride War, which is the incredibly abysmally terrible Muso clone, came out. It had the normal shit version that has no music, and then the version with all the insert songs that was like $60 more.
You have to buy that one.
It's the only one you would
You
want to play.
do.
You do.
Listen, if I'm going to play a bad Shonen Jump arena fighter, what's the point if I cannot explode my shirt off as Kenshiro
Yeah.
and Yuwa Shock starts going?
yeah, there's basically no point.
And if they do
Now,
that, I
before
really
we
want some
forget-
classic Kenshin songs, but I don't think that's gonna happen.
I want to go back to. I'm surprised Kenshin was not just deleted from the American
know,
version of this
right?
game.
I got one more thing on a jump force real quick. If you're gonna take us off of that topic, are you?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. We didn't write this in news because I don't keep this shit in mind. And Bob didn't submit any news this week. But Bob, I heard they leaked some Jump Force characters.
Oh yeah, the new character or
Jotaro, is
Jotaro.
one of the characters.
And then Dai from the Dragon Quest manga.
Yeah, the Dragon Quest manga ran like 40 volumes. It's one of the biggest.
Holy shit!
Jesus,
It's one of the biggest series to ever be in Shonen Jump. It's actually stranger that they've never been in a crossover before now.
Yeah, I could see why with numbers like that.
And while while the leak about the Dragon, this makes me think the Dragon Quest guy in Smash leak was true.
I mean, yeah, that
right.
that
Giving
does
some
get
validity.
you thinking that might be real, which is
Steve
cool.
from Minecraft, he's coming.
No, stop
He's the same
stop
leak.
memeing that into existence, Zoomer.
He was a part of that leak.
The only thing good from that will be the Smash announcer has to say Steve, and that'll kill me.
That'll be really good.
Now, I'm going to take us back for a moment to not being able to see if a game is bad from footage to the worst example of that I've ever encountered.
Yeah.
Where I'm talking to somebody, I say, wow, Sonic 4 looks bad. And we're watching a video of it. And they turn to me and go, how do you know? You haven't played it. as like Sonic is standing on a 80-degree slope, not moving.
As he literally T-poses and slides through the level. He might as well have. God, Sonic 4 is such a pile of crap.
You have no idea what a game is.
And then that person did it again with Sonic 4 Episode 2.
Oh my god.
Episode 2 is still unbelievably bad, even by Sonic terms, but it is way better than 1.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Yeah, I actually got all the trophies in Sonic 4 Episode 1. I don't know if I did it for Episode 2, because I think it requires some really asinine stuff.
I was insane at one point. I don't know if I was cured.
No, I used to be into getting trophies. That hasn't been a thing since the PS4 came out, really.
So I think it's news time, since everybody's talked about what they played. Yeah, you know.
Actually, real quick, I would like to note our incredibly awesome Podlords for the GigaBoots podcast Patreon.
Ah, yes, the
Where
Podlords.
did we come up with that name?
In case you didn't notice, that was pluralized. We have 2 Podlords. You can be a Podlord today by going to patreon.com/gbpodcasts. That's patreon.com/gbpodcast. But thank you to our Podlords, Danny Richardson and Not Gak. Thank you very much for your support. You two are very awesome. One might even say better than everyone else listening. Sophia, I hear we have some news.
Yes.
You want to do some news?
So here's a news story. Anthem continues hurtling towards death by not having a normal release layout.
Oh no, it's another
Oh,
one of
no.
those?
It's not as bad as Battlefield, but God, it's still
It's
bad.
worse.
How many
What
release
did
dates
they-
does it have? 4 or 7?
5.
Collect them all. How the fuck do you even have 5 release dates?
But
What
there's
is
no
that?
deluxe edition.
So if you want to play Anthem, this is the headline, by the way, of the Polygon article about it. When can you play Anthem? It's surprisingly complicated. That's what you want your massive game release schedule to be called.
Yeah.
Surprisingly complicated.
You want it to challenge the players.
players love a
They
challenge.
got to make that money.
So if you want to play a private demo, you have to pre-order the game and then you can play it today when you're listening to this. You also have to be subscribed to EA Access. Now, if you're a peasant and you want to play Anthem, you can play it on February 1st. Now, if you want to play the game earlier than everyone else, you can play it on the 15th.
But February 1st is still just the demo, though.
Yeah, it's February 1st
Yeah,
is
it's
still
the
just the
open
demo.
demo.
It's the demo for peasants.
Don't pre-order.
Now, if you just want to play it for 10 hours early, you can. That's also available on
What
the
the
15th. You don't have to be you don't have to be a Origin Lord
How does that shit
if
happen?
you only want to play 10 hours.
What?
I
And then
thought
the
you
game
needed an-
actually comes out for everybody on the 22nd.
I thought you needed an EA Access account to even do your 10-hour demo.
Oh my god. What the hell is wrong with these people?
You need a basic subscription for that.
Okay, so that's still a subscription, though. That's still paying to do that.
Yeah.
Is the basic one money? I thought only Premiere was money.
I'm not sure anymore.
What if that one's double money?
So EA did this with Battlefield 5, and
Yeah.
it contributed to that game fucking tanking.
Get it?
They'll never
Thanks.
stop.
EA is run by fucking sociopaths who understand nothing.
Look, they made their war plan months ago before they realized it was winter. They're gonna keep marching into that barren landscape until every release is dead.
Sort of like how Bethesda continues to not market things, not send review copies, and make things exclusive to their terrible PC launcher nobody on Earth wants to use.
Well, yeah, because it worked that one time for Doom, which is a really good game, when journalists shat on the fucking beta, which was multiplayer.
I'm gonna fucking lose my mind if Doom Eternal is exclusive to that fucking launcher.
Oh, shit, I didn't even think of that.
It's a good way to make sure no one plays it.
Yeah, it is.
That's what they want,
I'm
right?
still mad they sent The Evil Within 2 out to die, because that's one of the best horror games in like 6 years.
So I have some news. This news kind of taps into news from last week. I actually entered it in a very obscure way in the news documents. That way, no one else co-hosting this could see this coming. But hey guys, how do you feel about Quake? Because Quake 2 got ray tracing added to it.
Yes!
As soon as you said hinting, I went, ah, shit, this says RT, and it must be about ray tracing, the myth.
Yeah, they some people added ray tracing back into Quake 2. So that way, if you have NVIDIA's new RTX cards, it is fucking ray traced. It still looks like the butt-ass game it is from a billion years ago, but it's ray traced, which is hilarious because, of course, the lighting in that game was fully pre-baked and stuff, mildly dynamic in certain ways. But it's really dark because they don't have proper lighting stuff in it. So you'll see like a ton of light pouring through the window, but until you shoot a grenade or something, it causes a fiery explosion. The room's really dark. That thing looks dumb and hilarious. So if I had that graphics card, I would probably go try it. But holy shit, RTX is still really expensive.
So speaking of Quake, I'm going to shame myself publicly and reveal the only Quake game I've ever played.
Is it
Quake?
Enemy
Territories?
No, it's
It's Quake 1
Oh.
on the Nintendo 64.
Hey, that's... You could do worse, I feel.
I hear that's actually a really interesting version. Not good.
I mean, you're not as bad as people who are like, my only Unreal experience is with Unreal 2, the Leandri conflict.
My only Unreal experience is with the demo of Unreal Tournament 2004 that we played on LAN in the school's computer lab.
There you go. That's a really good experience. That's actually wholesome.
Yeah, no, that demo was amazing.
The demo was the Tribes-esque point capture game.
Yeah, that's good stuff. I'm actually going to roll straight on to my only other tech-related news story here. So when they name processors at AMD, they have specific ways that they number and letter the damn thing. So because of this, it kind of leaked that there is a model number for the, or a model name for the PS5's APU. Like, people were able to reverse engineer the naming scheme because Sony gets their own 2 digits or letters at the beginning. And that APU is codenamed Gonzalo. And I think that's a dope-ass name for a fucking processor in a console. This is the entire news story, by the way. I'm excited that the PS5's APU may be named Gonzalo.
That's better than Durango.
I hope it's really fast, so it's Speedy Gonzalo.
Speedy Gonzalo.
I'm gonna lose my mind.
Nothing but 60 frame per second games out of Gonzalo.
Yeah. Yeah, no, Gonzalo is a fucking great name for an APU. I'm really fucking loving it. What else did I find out while looking at news? Well, some guy on Reset Era is insisting that we've all been sleeping on the game Steep, and now that it's free with PlayStation Plus, we should wake up and give a shit.
That's not true. I fell asleep playing it.
This isn't news.
If I want to play a sports title, I want to play it with Ubisoft, fuck you, here's an animation, you can't do shit during the animation rules.
Yeah, that is exactly it. It does feel like you stick the animation system from Assassin's Creed on an extreme sports game. Like, we were talking about it before doing the podcast, we were talking about Steep, but they let you do all these different sports, but the way they execute them drains the love and life out of every single one of them. Like,
just the concept of the sports wheel is comical to me.
So,
what's up?
Is this news article just us calling out this guy?
Yes, it's news that some guy on Reset Era tells us that we're all sleeping on this game. Keep in mind, I was actually excited for Steep when they first showed it off, and by the end of playing it for about an hour and a half, 2 hours, I was super done. We actually have a quick play of that, and you can see that in the description.
Why can't we have arcade sports games anymore?
I don't know, because they want me to die. They just want me to die and go away. Like, remember Tony Hawk games? They used to make those. Those games are really good. Even the bad ones were pretty great.
I think there's actually a mobile Tony Hawk game now that's just like a mobile version of the old Tony Hawk games.
See, that's the thing. I meant to try that before this episode, but I forgot. I was actually gonna buy that, try it out, and have an opinion on it.
I'm sure it's not great. I'm sure it would have just hurt your feelings, but it's good that Tony Hawk knows that that's it.
It's hard to match up to the disappointment that was Tony Hawk HD.
I've never played that, and I'm so glad.
Skater 5
or Pro Skater 5.
It's a nightmare.
HD is worse to me because sullying your memories is worse than just a bad sequel.
The funny thing is they have so much in common. Like, if I remember, both are made by Robomoto, and they're both made on Unreal Engine 3, and they both feel completely loose and not polished in the same way. It's just that Tony Hawk 5 has a billion bad ideas to do with it too. We have a review on that though.
That slamming down on rails.
Oh my fucking lord, that slamming down on rails concept should be okay. But the thing is, the way I play Tony Hawk is I hold the grind button as I'm jumping up to the next thing, so that way at the soonest fucking frame that I can grind, he starts grinding.
Instead, you go thump.
Yeah, I thump into the fucking ground and I don't make the jump at all, making me feel like I'm bad at Tony Hawk, which fuck you. No, I'm not bad. You're bad.
People got so good at Tony Hawk that in Project 8 and the one after that, Proving
Grounds, yeah.
The scores are just insane.
Oh, dude.
Like the scores they expect out of you are like
Yeah.
millions upon millions of points because they expect you to do the revert and manual shit
Oh, yeah.
constantly.
Oh, you've never seen me play Tony Hawk, I see.
I mean, I can do that stuff. I just think it's funny to go from like American Wasteland, which had like low scores, to Project 8, where the scores go up by like 30-fold.
But see, that's the cool thing. In Project 8, you have 3 tiers of like completing a thing a lot of the time. It's like, get your score within this, and it's a normal completion. Get your score within this, it's sick. Like, I really love Project 8, and I'm deeply bitter that there's not a single version of that game that runs at 60 locked. Like, I would pay $60 for a version of Project 8 in 2019 that just ran at 60 frames per second. That's all I need. That game is really fucking solid.
I can't believe Activision fucked up so bad with Tony Hawk. I mean, I can, but they shouldn't have.
Right.
You mean
That's what they do?
The same company that lost Destiny and is driving Call of Duty into the fucking ground? Yeah,
And
I
is
believe that.
wrapping a belt around Blizzard's neck and yanking.
Yeah, they're doing real great over at Activision. But yeah, Steep was a disappointment after so many disappointments in that genre. And then also, we don't even get Skate. I'm not huge into Skate, but it would have been at least something.
Skate 4.
Yeah, let's talk about Skate 4. Bob, do you want Skate 4?
Of course. Who
Okay.
wouldn't?
KZ?
It'll bring my dad back.
Mr. Field, do you want Skate 4?
I never played any of the Skate games.
That sounds like everyone on this podcast wants Skate 4.
So here's what really hurts my feelings about Tony Hawk.
Yeah. Oh,
is that since
this
the way
let me tell you, Field, this could be its own podcast.
the way Xbox One backwards compatibility works is the game owner has to do
Has
it.
to greenlist it, yeah.
So we're never gonna get Project 8 and
Yeah.
Proving Ground on even on Xbox One.
Yeah, I know.
They'll just never do it.
What may happen eventually is that backwards compatibility functionality may get hacked enough where it may be able to be forced at some point in the future. As far as I know, that they haven't done that yet.
Maybe the Xbox 2 will just have complete compatibility somehow.
I assume they still have to sign the licenses and all that junk for that.
Yeah,
no matter what.
It's
But who
sad
knows?
that we're at the place we're at, but you know, the platform holders are almost frowned upon by publishers for doing back compat at all. So that's why they keep doing back compat. That's a la carte. You need to buy these things, which once again, Bobby Kotick, you fuck, I know you're listening. Sell me a 60 frame per second Project 8. I need that, man.
I'll buy the first 4. I'll buy Underground 1 and 2. If you make the loading hallways shorter in American Wasteland, I'll buy that. And I'll buy Project 8 and Proving Ground.
Those loading hallways were the best way as a kid to learn how marketing can technically not be false, but also be full of shit. Hey guys, no
It
load
was
screens.
really good.
Oh, Dan hates loading hallways in Tony Hawk, but he loves them in Castlevania Symphony of the Night. What a hypocrite.
Maybe if they were only as short as that one room in Symphony, then it would be fine. I mean, the PS2 versions of those halls go on for a really huge distance. I think the 360 was either shorter or ran smooth enough through there where you literally get through it faster. But yeah.
I've only played the PS2 version, so I don't know.
There are thousands of people listening to this podcast who don't realize I own every Tony Hawk game, basically, except for the portable ones. I am a huge Tony Hawk fan.
I wonder if the loading is actually based on actual loading. Because there's a PC version, and I wonder if you somehow installed it on a solid state, if they'd be really short.
I feel like that's too advanced. I think they just felt it out per platform and then shoved it longer on the ones that were problematic. Because doing a procedural loading hallway would actually take CPU resources.
Like, make it a big chunk. That'll give it enough time.
Yeah,
maybe somebody will eventually fuck with the American Wasteland thing, like they did Underground 2 on PC and made the
Thug Pro
PC thing.
Yeah, it's called Thug Pro. The problem is I don't think American Wasteland was released on PC, and that's why
it was.
Oh, it was? Okay. They just didn't release Project 8 on PC.
No, that one they did not.
Thus cursing me to this life. Honestly, I can't keep talking
Microsoft
about Tony
Windows,
Hawk.
so it did come out.
I'm feeling itchy. I'm getting the shivers. My addiction for Tony Hawk's coming back, so we got to move on, guys.
Sure.
I guess I'll go ahead and tell my last news story, which segues into a news story from Feel, because we both came in with news about this. Apparently, people have data mined the new patch for Travis Strikes Again, and it has a cutscene in it that features the main character from Killer 7.
What?
I think it also just came out today because it was a week out.
Yeah, it's insane.
I don't know this firsthand because I haven't played the Silver Case, but somebody told me the story of Travis Strikes Again ties into the Silver Case.
I hate it, but I am a huge nut for really large universes. Like, I'm not a huge fan of every Kevin Smith movie, but the fact that he was doing that, like, these movies are all part of the same universe thing is really fascinating to a certain part of my brain. So when Suda goes to do something like that, it's like, oh yeah, now it's all in one universe. That really gets me interested in a way that, maybe feels a little dirty, but at the same time, I'm just like, yeah, now I need to buy them all.
So I have to wonder if Blood Plus is technically part of the Suda universe now.
I like how you stunned Bob with your "I like Iron Man" statement. KZ's like, I need to say something. Form of 8-year-old. Then he transforms.
Now, here's a thing that kind of excites me is that Killer 7 was published by Capcom.
Yeah,
and that means they don't own Killer 7.
Huh. Well, they did the PC port. Did that have Capcom's name on it anywhere?
I think
that was just Nippon Ichi Software of America. But what makes me happy about that is that opens the potential for all of the stupid all the Grasshopper manufacture shit to be in the same universe. And I'm now and I'll go immediately into my version, which is if at the end of Travis, I'm going to spoil the end of Travis Strikes Back, the secret thing, not the story. The ending of that game. So skip ahead to whatever timestamp that I'm sure Dan will insert here.
That's how you do that.
Yeah, so sure Dan will insert it. Go ahead.
It's just a room in Unreal 4 with a camera angle like the No More Heroes 1 and 2 camera angle, and a sign. I think it's a sign that says "We're in development."
Jesus.
I hope we make money off this.
Yeah, see, that's the thing.
Which there's two options here, and both of them are stupid.
Yeah, Suda's involved. Go ahead.
One of them is a lie.
One of them is it's a lie and the game isn't guaranteed now, which will make it funny when this game doesn't sell and that gets canceled.
No, that's not funny, but continue.
The second is No More Heroes 3 was started development before this came out, in which case, why does this game exist?
I mean, that's the thing, though. You got to start one project while you're still working on another. That's how game studios work nowadays.
I know, but I feel like this No More Heroes tie-in that people kind of got sour on when they learned it wasn't No More Heroes 3 is a weird thing to make to lead into No More Heroes 3. I feel like just a 1 and 2 HD probably would have been a better choice.
Right, but it could literally just be Suda had some weird ideas.
Maybe it got confirmed earlier, like recently. Maybe that happened. Or it was like, they're almost done, and it got greenlit, So they decided to do the lie thing, where they're like, hey, buy this.
But what I really want to happen is I want the lollipop chainsaw girl, whose name I forget.
That's fair.
Mondo Zappa from Killer is Dead, and Garcia Hotspur from Shadows of the Damned to all be in No More Heroes 3.
These fucking names are so good. Garcia Hotspur?
What you're telling me is you're making Suda's Avengers.
I don't want them to. I'd be happy if some of them were playable, but I'd also just want them to be bonus bosses.
If Travis Touchdown has to murder everyone else that Suda made, that'd be hilarious.
That would be so fucking funny and so fucking bad.
Nah, he wouldn't have to kill him. because he leaves people alive all the time. It's part of the plot in 2.
It's true.
But Killer is Dead ends with a fight on the moon while Dvorak blasts.
Yeah. No, that
I thought
ending
that
was
was the game
ridiculous.
that had the Gigolo stuff in it.
You are
Why is there
correct.
fights on the moon?
What?
Yeah,
What?
there's a
Oh,
side
yeah.
game in Killers is Dead where you have like weird
The gigolo
creeper
glasses.
eyes. Yeah, you have gigolo eyes or something where you can look.
Oh yeah, Gigolo Vision, which people shit on, but I think was actually Suda shitting on his publisher for making him include that.
Yeah, that came out at some point, I think, where it's like, yeah, no, he didn't want to do this. This is literally publisher obligation here.
Yep.
Because Marvel is published, I think, and they're the Senran Kagura devs.
What are you trying
Yeah,
to
it
say
was
about
published by
Senran
Marvelous
Kagura?
USA.
What are you trying to say about Senran
Uh,
Kagura?
I mean, it's
Look,
Field buys all of them.
look.
yes, not anymore because all the Falcom people left Xseed. So I'm like, well, I don't need to support Xseed as much anymore. Time to stop buying these.
Hey man, hey, I need my Peach Ball Splash or whatever
Sure,
it's actually
that's why
called.
you bought them.
Yeah, of
Peach
course.
Beach Splash, I
Peach
think.
Beach. I need my pinball game.
Oh,
I'm not in for.
I don't know what that one's called. Peach Beach Splash is the water gun game.
Senran Kagura pinball.
Dan is now on a list.
Peach Ball. Okay, it's Peach Ball. It's Peach Ball.
Okay.
Whatever.
And people keep telling me the games are good, and I'm like, I don't want to play them enough to find out.
Well, let me tell you, I know someone who played it enough to
I'm
find
not
out.
I'm not going to play another. Well, I mean, they're talking about like the characters in the story, and I'm like, but I don't want to play a
The
bad
lore.
Muso game. There's too many of those already.
I mean,
There are a
you're
lot.
not wrong there. There are too many of those already.
It's better than the Fate Extella games. Those are the worst Muso games I've ever played.
Those games are for plot only. They have like 40 hours of VN sequences in each of them.
That doesn't excuse how bad they are.
Sophia, what other news you got?
Yakuza Kiwami is going to be out on PC on February 19th. It'll probably be
Ooh.
$20 again like Yakuza 0 was, because Sega is just insane.
I just can't deal with how many games have come over to the States with the word Kiwami in it.
Right. I mean, is
I'm really surprised they haven't just called it Extreme.
Yeah, I don't get it.
Because you talk to a clown in Yakuza Kiwami and he says, quote, Kiwami means extreme.
I think that
Translator note.
didn't that launch on PlayStation is a $20 game, I believe.
Yakuza Keikaku.
Keikaku means extreme plan.
But yeah, that's a good game. Yakuza Kiwami is the best way to play Yakuza 1 unless you're an insane person.
I enjoyed the dub, so
Yeah,
there's that. It has Mark Hamill being the crazy guy. That's
yeah,
a lot of fun.
the dub actually was pretty decent.
Yeah,
I
but
hear.
then you have to play it.
Yeah.
The version where you can't turn around and have no moves.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man, that game
obviously,
was rough.
obviously it doesn't compare to the newer version on any gameplay level.
Although when I played Yakuza Kiwami, I had a unique problem where they reuse animations in all these games, but Kiwami was by far the hardest they ever reused animations. So I'm playing this game and I can see where all the animations come from.
Oh yeah, yeah. No,
I'm like,
that's always
from
fun.
this boss. This is from that boss. This is from that cutscene.
Oh, it's like when you play as one of those throwaway characters in a Dynasty Warriors game, and you go, "Motherfucker, you're just Lu Shu. You're not even in a wait."
I've never played an actual Dynasty.
Whoa!
Warriors game.
Whoa.
Okay, let me tell you, and this goes out to everyone listening. Don't play any of them past 5. So get a
I thought you were
PS2.
going to say, do not pursue Lu Bu.
I mean, I could have memed and said
you
that.
know what the very first Muso-esque game I ever played was?
Ninja Warriors?
Mm.
Wait, Samurai Warriors?
No, worse.
Whoa, okay, shoot.
The bad localized version of Sengoku Basara 1 that
Oh, yeah.
was localized
Devil
as
Kings.
Devil Kings.
Devil Kings, yeah.
Kings.
Where
That's
there's
a strong title.
Where they changed all the characters' names.
yeah, they changed
It's
them from
good.
the historical figures to weird horoscopes. So there's an infamous cutscene from Devil Kings where it's two guys and one of them's like yelling Scorpio and the other one
Yeah, and
goes
he's yelling, My Lord!
Yeah. It's
Oh,
just
man.
this giant burly
Devil
dude
King.
who's like Scorpio and then the other guy's like my lord.
I actually really respect the Sengoku Basara series because they do so many different things with the combat. Like they have
I've
lots
never
of crazy
played
ideas.
any of them past that first one.
Oh, my
but
lord.
I've enjoyed the openings on YouTube.
You
Yes.
need to play, what is it, the third one?
Yeah, the third one they brought over to the States. It's good.
It's actually really, like, it pushes the genre forward, like, that style of gameplay a lot. It's kind of crazy.
I even imported the next one, which was even better, honestly.
It's, like, as someone who's basically not cared about most Warriors games, I wholeheartedly just, you should try one of the really recent Sengoku Basaras.
I wish that Capcom didn't stop bringing them over.
Well,
It's
look,
really
they gotta put
frustrating.
every last person on Leon Kennedy's face. Have you seen it?
Well, the last one was in 2014, which is still when Capcom had the demon inside them.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Ooh.
maybe when they make 5, they'll localize it.
The Kaiji demon, as some pronounce it.
God damn it.
So here's a story following up last week's where we made fun of Fallout 76, so we're going to make fun of it again.
Oh, yes.
There's a rumor that Fallout 76 might go free to play, and Bethesda has denied this rumor, but I don't fucking believe them.
You shouldn't.
Yet another entry in the Todd Howard Power Hour.
So there's a rumor that it's going to go free to play, and I could see it because that game has not done well.
Yeah,
No,
it's
it
done really
has not.
badly. But
And I feel like the internal discussion is like, let's make it free to play and suck up all the microtransactions we possibly can and then dump this thing in a fucking ditch.
I honestly saw that news story too, and I wasn't sure about it just because the only evidence they have is, oh, it went on clearance in this Australian retailer. Like,
It's the only thing that would give them good press at this point.
No, going free to play would give them bad press because all the people who bought it would go, what the fuck?
Feel all the people who've
Yeah.
bought it have already stopped playing.
Yeah, that's true. Unless they except for the ones who are making alts, going to the dev room, stealing everything from the dev room, and then transferring the
Saying hi
loot
to
to their
Whoopi.
main.
Oh,
Because
God,
they
that is so insane.
they can't. Apparently, they have nothing in place to track like player exchanges.
What? How do you
So-
have that?
So they can ban the person who got to the dev room, but they can't ban the people they got who they gave the shit to because they don't know who that is.
That's insane.
So, this seems like a good time to mention it. I saw a video like a month and a half ago about Fallout 76 where someone had a conspiracy theory about why that game exists that I thought was hilarious, where Todd Howard wants to make a big, exciting new game like what was it, Starfield or the next Elder Scrolls, but he was very worried that he wouldn't be able to get the team size that he wanted for that game. So he proposed this Fallout game despite knowing it would be bad, just so they could add more staff so that even if it failed, they could just make, the game he wanted.
That doesn't make a lot of sense to me because Fallout 4 already sold like 15 million. How many copies do you have to sell to be allowed to make your team bigger?
I mean, I think the logic was, well, we don't need to do anything to the engine because this sold well, and we don't need to add any more people because Fallout 4 did just fine. So that was the logic in that theory. I just like insane theories.
This is Todd Howard's secret plan to make them finally switch engines by making something it was completely unsuited for, so all the cracks show.
Yes. He's like, see, guys, this is why we need to make some changes. Do you see what happened with our recent game?
Todd Howard is a cunning man.
He is. He's the modern day Xehanort.
People keep pointing out that the last well-written Elder Scrolls game, Morrowind, is the last one he wrote for.
Yeah, which is fucking hilarious. I never would have guessed that.
Speaking of things going free to play, PUBG is definitely going free to play.
Oh,
They introduced a new light version, which is free to play in Thailand right now, but people data mined it and found like stuff for an English release.
Nice.
And I feel that they're definitely going to be doing a more limited free version soon.
Probably.
Just gotta sell that PS4 version first.
Then it would make sense for those microtransactions like Suicide Squad, Joker, Harley Quinn for like $40 or whatever.
Nothing more accurately sums up the difference between Fortnite and PUBG than Fortnite having Thanos the week that movie came out and PUBG having Suicide Squad 3 years later.
With a unique game mode with the Thanos stuff, because you would play as him, and you know.
And this last news story is not like a news. It's a game that I became aware of today,
Oh.
and I really wanted to talk about. It's called Atomic Heart.
What's up with Atomic Heart?
It is a first-person melee-focused game that seems to take place in like the Russian version of the city from BioShock
Which BioShock? Regular or Infinite?
1 and 2.
Okay.
Rapture.
No, Infinite, the good one.
Fuck you. It has like that Fallout-esque, nuclear punk kind of look, and there's a lot of weird robots you're fighting.
I like that.
And it looks really neat, and it's coming out this year, I think. IGN put up 10 minutes of gameplay today.
Hey, Bob.
What's up?
If you recall, last gen on the PS3, there was a downloadable first-person melee game with a really weird aesthetic that was Unreal Engine 3 and ran at about 25 frames per second.
Oh, you're talking about...
What was the name? They made 2 of them, but I think only the second one came to the PS3. Oh, this is going to kill me. This is going to kill me.
I know what you're talking
Yeah.
I played that. It wasn't as good as Breakdown, but it was still pretty neat. Which is,
It had a bizarre aesthetic, kind of like Shadow of the Beast, where it's like horrifying in a way.
It
Like
started with a
grotesque.
Z or an X. It was some
That's
super
true.
late alphabet
That's
thing.
true.
And they all talked
Oh.
about the birth, the mother or whatever is their
Father,
god.
mother.
Mother.
Father. Yeah. God.
Mommy.
I shit you not. I typed in Mother, Father, PS3 game, Heavenly Sword as the first thing that returned. Yeah, I have no idea what the name of this game is. I'm doomed. Hopefully someone will reply in the comments, because it's Xeno something. It's
Xenoclash.
Xenoclash. Yeah, that actually, what you're talking about here with Atomic Heart reminds me of Xenoclash.
The sequel to that came out, and I don't think anybody talked about the sequel because I think it was bad.
Yeah, I don't think anyone talked about the sequel, but that's the only one I actually played. That game is aesthetically, and
It was
I like it.
Oddworld-esque, like it
Yes.
reminded me of Oddworld.
Yeah,
It's that aesthetic.
Yeah. I could see.
But another
relating
reason,
it to
reason this interests me is because it's made by Russian devs,
that.
and I'm always interested in foreign non-American devs making something that isn't like let's make it for the Americans.
Yeah, no,
Mamma
I absolutely
Which
get
is-
that. For example, I import my monsters. That's why I drink Monster Import, and I also import my Kingdom Hearts, and those are going to be the highest quality things of those.
It makes your brain bigger.
Which one, the Monster or the Kingdom Hearts?
Yep.
That's why I like The Witcher, because it's so intensely Polish.
I mean, what helps with a lot of these Eastern European games is that their quote budget, not actual monetary budget, but man-hour budget, can go way higher than any other territory. That's kind of why Lords of Shadow got greenlit at all. That's why Lords of Shadow 1 has really good environmental art. The pay for environmental artists in Spain is so much lower than anywhere else. And it got more expensive recently, but it still holds that a lot of European games, especially outside of England and more towards Eastern Europe, can be much more man-hour expensive games and still coming in at a reasonable price. So I too find that interesting. That's why I'm really interested in Cyberpunk, because The Witcher's not exactly my shtick. I'm not huge into fantasy games. I blame Peter Molyneux and how none of the shit he said happened in Fable 1.
Fable is I can't even fucking pretend. Fable's overall Fable is like depressing because every game is a 7.
Yeah.
Just wait. There's going to be a new one. It'll be great.
I kind of think if Microsoft next gen is like, let's pull up the corpse, somebody make Fable 4, that'll probably be the best Fable game.
Oh, you know who's going to make it, though, and why you're wrong? Because it's Ninja Theory.
Nah, they wouldn't make it. They're going to be on some arty thing that Microsoft wants them to prove that they have artistic credentials.
Did those rumors never pan out? Because there was that thing about the Forza Horizon devs having a team working on a Fable.
That's true. That was a rumor. I haven't read anything else to corroborate that, but it still could be possible. I still
because at E3 they said something like, "We've got this team. We've acquired the Forza devs, and they also have something really interesting. We're looking forward to showing you that."
Yeah, this was a year ago, so I imagine if it's real, it will pop up this year at E3.
How many microtransactions will it have?
Hopefully none. Well, I'm sure there'll be cosmetics and shit, because you can bring
it's
people.
Microsoft. It'll be everything.
I was half listening, so I thought he said hopefully one. Like, which one?
Just one microtransaction. Do you want to move
It's
faster?
$50.
$5. It's just horse armor.
Well, there's microtransaction options in Fable that wouldn't be so gross. Like they could
just pay for your beer at a pub.
or just like because you can do the little gestures at townspeople, and they could just give you unique gestures, and you can do them in the multiplayer mode because Fable 2 had multiplayer.
Sure did.
Multiplayer and Fable, maybe not a good combination given the last massive project for Fable was a multiplayer game that got canned. But yeah, they'll probably do another fucking multiplayer mode.
BioWare acquired all of the plans for that Fable multiplayer game and is going to integrate all of them into Dragon Age 4.
You're lying,
I'm crumbling.
right? They didn't say this at any point in time, right? You thought of a funny thing to say, and
Yeah, this is total bullshit, but it's going to happen though.
This
Okay.
feels
I don't-
insane.
okay.
dude,
Power
the
hour.
game industry's fucking crazy. I don't know what's real anymore.
Don't worry, it won't be Fable, Dan, because it's going to be Dark Souls.
If Activision
Stop it.
if Activision does go like tits up and crashes as a company because they're running out of IPs and pretty soon they won't even have a product to sell,
Don't worry about IPs. We have Bungie for the
They got Crash Bandicoot.
I do wonder, like, when they go to auction their IPs, who's gonna buy and what they will buy. I'm very curious who gets Activision's payloads of IPs, like which one would end up where.
Who gets Pitfall?
Oh my
somehow
god,
FromSoft saves Tenchu.
that would be pleasant. I feel like, oh man, what's the name of that dev, Bob?
Acquire?
Acquire. I feel like Acquire would be a little salty over that, but that would be
They
pretty
made
funny.
4, so I have a hard time forgiving them.
Oh yeah, no, I don't feel for them. I'm just saying they're gonna be upset.
What if part of the deal about Activision publishing Sekiro is it lets From touch Tenchu again?
I mean, then I'm fine with that because Tenchu isn't just a ninja game. Tenchu's a ninja game with a level creator.
But they never did those, so I'm conflicted. FromSoft did two Tenchu games I like. One Tenchu game is probably the best Tenchu game, but did not have a level creator in any of them.
Wait, FromSoft did which one?
They did 3 in Fatal Shadows.
Oh yeah, those were rather polished compared to every other Tenchu game.
Yes.
And then Acquire did the others.
That level creator thing is another thing that I'm surprised nobody has just stolen yet.
Yeah, I don't.
Like here's our stealth game where you can make levels and share them via codes.
How fucking weird is it that, like, in this connected age with the internet being what it is and cloud computing and shit, we somehow went away from putting level creators and everything, but went towards having the monolithic creator game dreams.
Yeah, it's frustrating. It's like PS1 and PS2 we were getting level creators, and that just ended.
And
when
those
the
memory
internet showed
cards
up.
were, like, tiny as hell, like 64 kilobytes.
Instead of level creators, now we have procedural level generation.
Yeah.
I love my roguelikes.
Random.
It's real good. Yeah, it's like every time I see level creator in the title or like the tags for something, it's a fan game. It's sad. But okay, I think that's all the news, isn't it?
Yes,
Yeah.
so that means it's time. Let's bring this up from the depression with some questions.
Yep, if you have a question for the Big Think Dimension, send it to btd@gigaboots.com. That is btd@gigaboots.com. If you have trouble remembering that, just remember it's literally the initialism for this podcast. Big Think Dimension, BTD, not that hard. Anyways,
Not CBT, BTD.
BTD.
Not NTR, BTD.
I'm going to quit this podcast. Anyway, Phil, what emails do we have?
So our first question is from Disciple of Dustman. Dear GigaBoots and Co., what character would you guys want to replace Zavok in Team Sonic Racing? I personally would want Infinite from Sonic Forces because of how infinitely better his design is. I'd even take a generic egg robot over that ugly, irrelevant character that no one has ever asked for to appear ever again in any Sonic game, ever.
Seems like there's some hate here.
Blaze.
Yeah, I second that. Blaze for sure. She's like probably my favorite Sonic character.
I would also want Infinite because I'm like the one person who thinks Infinite is great, but I would want Blaze first.
I agree. Infinite's really good. But what if we get hyper-realistic Eggman from Sonic 2006 as an alternate character?
Final
God.
Fantasy Eggman.
Yes. because that's my answer.
So my vote, because I don't know the full roster, maybe duplicate is redundant with who's in the game, but Fang
Sniped by time.
Fang the Sniper, aka Knack the Weasel from Sonic Triple Trouble.
Oh, there's no way that character
There's
is
no
in there.
fucking way.
Yeah, no, I
Sega
don't.
banned Archie
Dude, you're
from
being
using him
stuck
in the
here.
new comic.
What is wrong with them?
Sometimes they just lash out, and that's the way they show they love you. That's what's wrong
mean,
with them.
Sonic Transformed had Danica Patrick. Can we just get Penders in here as one of the
No,
racing
do
options?
not speak the name of Penders, please.
Bob has yet again erased from his memory who Ken Penders is, and I'm not explaining the saga of Ken Penders.
He's
for
the Knuckles guy, right?
He's the Knuckles guy.
Yes,
Knuckles
he's
guy.
the Knuckles guy who did the Knuckles comic,
He's the
where it would be
enchilada
like-
man.
where Knuckles would leave the comic on page 1, and then it would be 25 pages of Ken Penders akin to OCs.
Man, that sounds pretty cursed.
Don't even say that, Dan.
Oh, it says Blaze the Cat is in here, so I guess
Oh,
we don't
yeah.
have to be upset anymore. So I'm gonna go with Infinite.
So yeah, you guys gotta come up with something else, Bob.
This is bullshit. Vector's team is him, Silver, and Blaze. Where the hell are Mighty and Charmy? Are they just
I
dead?
don't know, but I was fucking
Where's
pissed about that.
SBO?
I'm like,
Yeah,
Yeah, I was
you
gonna
just
say
like
SBO's be on that.
yeah, you
my
don't get
next one.
SBO, Mighty, Charmy. What the fuck is wrong with them?
I don't know. Don't get it. Oh, right. They keep teaming up
Vanna
with
White?
Silver.
I don't think I've ever mentioned this on a podcast, but when Ian Flynn took over writing the Sonic comic, and he still writes it, he had to fix all of the bad things Ken Penders did. And one of them was fixing Charmy's character because it was completely different from how it was in the games. And he did this, and this, I love Ian Flynn, but ooh, he did this by giving Charmy brain damage.
What the fuck? Who does that?
Why?
Why would you
Because
ever?
he had to make Charmy like dumb and happy because that's his in-game characterization.
So he gave him brain damage. That
Yes.
somehow is the preferred option here.
Ignorance is bliss, Dan.
Ignorance by blunt force is tragic, Bob.
I know.
This is
Jesus
a
Christ.
hospital visit.
He should have just been like, Charmy then sat down and played every Kingdom Hearts game in a single sitting, and it made him very charming and whimsical and lighthearted. The end.
You are. You're charming. You're whimsical.
Yeah, I'm not a bee. I hear some people who listen to this are wasps, though.
It's okay. They suffer from brain damage.
Eggman stuck Charmy into a life force suction machine that damaged his mind and erased parts of his memory that didn't line up with canon.
I'm not okay with
What?
any of this.
My God.
I'm not okay with any of this.
But my answer is Infinite. And I guess Bob's is SBO.
Yeah, SBO for me.
Yeah. Okay. These are all good choices, and I guess KZ's is Danica Patrick.
No, mine was hyper realistic Eggman from Sonic 06.
Oh, okay. Yeah, these are all good choices. I feel good about how we answered this question. I think we passed the
Reiterate
test.
your choice, Dan.
Oh, my choice? It was Knack the Weasel or Fang the
Oh, yeah,
Sniper,
Fang the
depending on
Sniper.
which you. Yeah, depending on which territory.
Knack, baby.
Yeah, it's Knack, baby. Knack
So this
attack.
one is from Connor. Hey, big thinkers. Connor from Olathe, Kansas. Longtime listener, first time writer. I am wondering what your thoughts on the recently released Yik is, and he describes Yik for a bit, but none of us have played it. But the second part is the question. Do you think there is a space for more good active RPG style games to be made? It seems nobody other than whoever gets the Mario license can make good ones, and lately it seems even though they are really dropping the ball.
Action RPGs are really hard to do well.
Wait, it was active RPGs like Chrono Trigger or action RPGs?
By active, I assume he means things like Paper Mario.
So
Mario
things
and
with
Luigi.
active time battle, the ATB system.
Okay.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, not that, but like the Mario system. And I think a big thing is that there's always room for that, and people are still making them. Like Undertale and Deltarune are both that.
That's one guy though.
and it's in development right now. Blue Omen looks incredible and has that exact same kind of battle system, and it has a demo. Had a Kickstarter a little ways back.
Oh, is that the thing with the guy with the leather jacket?
Yeah,
his-
and the float and the girl
floating
with the
girl.
horn.
Okay. That looked really neat, and I downloaded the demo, but I have not played it yet.
But there's a lot of room for that, but it's hard to do right. Like Yik is a good example that does it terribly. because I played the demo, and luckily, from what multiple people have told me, Yik is another game like Mighty Number 9 where the demo did not change at all.
Yeah, it's one of those. Well,
Yik, more like Yik.
Yik, more like Y2K.
Right, I can't stop. It's awful. Hearing Yik is just hurting me.
Bob's brain is hurting from hearing Yik over and over.
It's like
Yik.
It's Y2K. Why?
Yik at GigaBoots.com.
You play Mario and Luigi or you play Paper Mario, and your normal attacks are just timed hits.
Right.
In Y2K, to save Bob from hurting anymore,
You mean Yik?
every single attack is a mini game.
Oh.
And then every single defense is a mini game.
Want to play the worst version of Mario Party ever?
That makes everything a slog.
I watched, there's a video on Twitter of the battle transitions where it's a white screen and it lasted for 40 seconds.
You're kidding.
For a random encounter
No.
that they just ran into.
You gotta be kidding.
Wow, that's worse than Final Fantasy IX.
Right?
Yeah, it was unedited. It just kept going.
That's insane. Yeah, I don't really have an opinion on whether or not more indie devs are going to come over to that sort of combat system, because I don't know. I'm not going to say I'm not even going to imply I'm in touch with indie dev or RPG indie devs, but what I will say is every time I hear about Y2K is a time I wish I didn't hear about Y2K, and I wish I could just banish it out of this realm, because every fucking thing astounds me. Like, somehow I don't become numb to it.
Some parts are very offensive.
I don't become numb to any of it.
I really don't want to go on a rant about this fucking horrible game, but the fact that the weirdo self-insert protagonist has a weird love interest with the character based on a mentally ill girl who killed herself is like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah, every time I find out something new, I'm fucking staggered. It's
But
insane.
for the second question, yeah, I think there's rooms for people like that kind of RPG a lot. And I think Nintendo has been failing objectively by ruining Paper Mario and Mario and Luigi to be more like the main Mario franchise for reasons I will never understand.
It'll have more appeal that way.
Somebody showed me the NPC sprites from Bowser's Inside Story and from the Bowser's Inside Story and Superstar Saga 3DS remakes, and I just became depressed.
What'd they do?
They turned every single unique Toad into a generic Toad.
Yeah, it just seemed really lazy. Like, why would you bother even doing this if you're not going to try?
That doesn't even seem like a lazy thing and more like this is what you're going to do. Because I refuse to believe that Alpha Dream's just going to stop trying.
They just, it's more of a budgetary thing where they greenlit the project, and at some point they're like, hey, we can't afford to remake all of these units, whatever, just make this a generic Toad and it'll help our margins.
And then that's what happened with fucking Six Sticker Star and Color Splash 2, where everything is just a generic looking Toad.
So what's the next email?
And then I want a 1,000-Year Door remaster, but I'm also terrified of it, because what if they just soul vacuum it?
It's okay.
They just attach it to the Monsters Inc. soul vacuum and pull out its soul.
Okay, you don't need a 1,000-Year Door remake. What you need is a Resident Evil 4 remake.
Here's what Zaver writes. Let's say you can bring back one franchise Nintendo hasn't done in a good long while, but you have to sacrifice a current franchise for it to be brought back. Which ones and why? An addendum
Pilot
to
Wings
this
and
question-
anything.
An addendum to... very on brand, Dan. An addendum to this question to make it more interesting. If the franchise is handled by a certain team, example Intelligent Systems for Fire Emblem, they have to handle the franchise that's revived.
Okay, so now I have to choose what to cut, so that way I can get that dev team on Pilot Wings.
Kill Star
Yep.
Fox forever and bring back F-Zero.
Star Fox is a current running series?
They had a game
It just had a game.
on their most recent platform.
They did,
Barely.
but oh man, that thing was a coffin, not a game.
They shipped out a eulogy printed onto a fucking disc.
A $60 coffin.
They really do need to up the... Hey, that's a good price for a coffin. But they really
You're
do
right.
need to remaster that for the Switch and take out all of the motion controls.
They just need to remove everything that
Miyamoto came up
did.
You know, I respect Miyamoto a lot, but now he needs to go away.
He's done a lot of great things. He needs to leave.
And now we have to stop him before he continues to do a lot of bad things.
Stop praying for my grandpa. He's making bad video games.
Nintendo needs to give him a team and just put him in a room and let him make whatever little things he wants and not let him touch anything else ever.
I mean, he was one of the major influences on the Wii U, so I think you should maybe just give him his own company just to vacuum seal the connection between the rest of Nintendo and him. But I don't know. Hey Bob, what's your answer?
I'd love to see another Kid Icarus.
Okay.
Like
so you want it to die. You want to just finish the fight and you want his hands to fall off.
It doesn't have to be him. It doesn't have to be him.
Oh yeah, Sakurai being like, we can't remaster it for the Switch because I'm too busy. And then nobody's like, work can happen that isn't done by you.
I mean, that's like when KZ's like, Dan, I can edit the podcast. And my neurosis just goes, I can't trust anyone.
I'm trying to think of other Nintendo franchises that I feel like it's been way too long since we've had. I think
F-Zero.
Yeah, F-Zero is a great game.
I mean,
Pilot Wing.
I'm willing to sacrifice Metroid just immediately. Just
for anything. Any of the things we're listing.
Yeah, any
For
of these
example,
things.
Pilot Wings and Punch-Out and F-Zero.
And Punch-Out's another one.
Punch-Out's really
but
good.
I feel like the one I've got the most connection with, like, personally, I would want another one is Kid Icarus.
I would I'd sacrifice Star Fox for F-Zero and Chibi Robo for Punch-Out.
Okay, so we currently have, in a sense, Star Fox going, right? And because it came out on the most recent platform.
And there's that alleged Star Fox racing game that may exist.
That one.
What I'm saying, I mean, that game sounds great, honestly. I want Diddy Kong's Racing, but with Star Fox, because one fits a lot better as a Star Fox game.
Pig.
Yeah, I want Space Whiz Pig.
Sadly,
a pseudo
Microsoft
sequel to Diddy Kong Racing that's just Star Fox would be so raw.
Microsoft owns WizPig now, unfortunately.
This is fucked up.
It is pretty fucked up. Why isn't that their company mascot? Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna shut down Star Fox, which means Platinum gets to work on the next Punch-Out game. That's what I'm gonna do. I just want.
But Next Level already made a perfect Punch-Out game. Why wouldn't they just
Next
make
Level
a
is
sequel?
fucking cursed. Fine. You know what? Okay. Next Level.
Wait, kill
Luigi's Mansion.
Just kill it.
It snuck under my radar.
Oh, yeah.
I forgot. We're killing Luigi's Mansion.
I forgot it existed too.
See, that's why I didn't think of it.
I was gonna wait for you to finish. That was gonna be one of mine.
So
where it's like, buy Luigi's Mansion, Punch-Out's back.
Yeah, there we go. Okay, that's the most obvious one. Casey, it's the most logical one, rather. Let me put it that way. It's the most sensible.
Mm-hmm.
Who the fuck wants Luigi's Mansion 3? I haven't met them. I don't think they're real.
I'm fine with the Yoshi series ending, but I don't know what else to bring back.
I never heard a single person talk about Luigi's Mansion 2 ever. Not once.
That's because I lied about making a review about it.
That review's still coming up next week, right, Dan?
Yeah, no joke, guys.
Same with Bayonetta thing, right?
One of our reviews ends with, our next review is going to be Luigi's Mansion 2, so stick around for that.
It was a different time.
It was a different time.
So the only other game series that comes to mind is I'd like to see Golden Sun come back, but I struggled to think of any other developer to cut their game and force them to make it. So I guess Fire Emblem's dead.
Look, if After Fates, I'm fine with that.
Well, wait. Golden Sun's made by Camelot, so all you have to do is kill the Mario sports games and you get Golden Sun back.
Oh, that's an easy fucking kill. Goodbye.
Okay, that is an easy kill. I barely believe in them anymore, but fine, why not?
I honestly, I do really like the tennis game. It's just, its single player mode has way too steep of a difficulty curve on the Switch. I don't know of anyone who's beaten that mode. And I gotten the farthest out of everyone I know. And it's not like it's for a lack of trying. I think I tried about 20 to 30 times on the last match I was stuck on and just made no progress at all.
I was someone so pumped for that story mode. I did one thing of it and I went, all right, I'm just going to do multiplayer now. It's like I tricked my brain into thinking I wanted it.
I mean, I absolutely do want that sort of thing because Mario Golf on the Game Boy Color with its like adventure mode with experience points and leveling up and like a world map where you go around and talk to people was amazing. And I really wish they put that much
I really
effort
want
into that
online
tennis
Mario
mode.
Golf.
Yeah, that would be nice.
That'll never happen because it would require Nintendo to accept that the internet exists that wasn't through clenched fists and gritted teeth and tears.
Yeah.
I'd even accept it if it was like 3 holes.
But no, looking at
Nintendo
how they did Mario
desperately-
Party, they absolutely aren't going to do that because Mario Party's online is pretty fucked.
Nintendo has this obsession with thinking local co-op is still a thing, and it's just not.
I mean, it is a thing for me a lot, but at the same time, it doesn't replace online. Online's a very different thing.
Yeah, they're intensely different things. I feel like the weird thing is every other developer feeling like couch co-op doesn't exist, and I see people every day who want couch co-op.
Oh,
Like,
yeah,
Just give me both. I'll do both. I
Right?
love both.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah, it's frustrating.
So this is from the Burger King Saber, which I'm pretty sure is the Saber Says Twitter account.
Okay.
And I'm reading this due to bias in favor of them, which is opinions on the Fate franchise, which I think ties in nicely to Bob ranting about Fate Extella earlier.
Oh. I guess I'll lead off then. I like Fate Zero a lot. That one's real good. All the parody ones are amazing. So the food one that's going right now is some good anime, some good cooking anime. What Carnival Fantasia or whatever, Phantasm. That one's amazing because that one mixes Melty Blood and Fate. It's good stuff. I'm not.
Well, Melty Blood isn't Melty Blood based on Tsukihime, which is another
Yes, it's
Yeah.
Hinoko
Right.
Nasu visual novel.
I thought he was just going to call it Kino. I'm like, yeah, Shiki Tono's pretty fucking cool.
I thought he
has
was about to say coconut.
He has Kino in his name.
Yeah.
So, in Melty Blood's a great game. There's lots of good stuff around Fate. I've never played the original visual novels, though, and I don't think I will.
Because it's 150 hours long.
Right? And I just don't have time for that. I just don't like Fate Extra stuff. Fate Extella, Fate Extra, that's the stuff that I'm just like, no.
But
Did you ever
Bob,
play the Game Boy game? I'm not the Game Boy game, the PSP game that Xseed brought out.
I did
think it was
not. I
Xseed.
hear that's the only part that might be good.
Because I know a lot of people who like it, and then the sequel did not get localized at all. So and then Extella and the second one are both after that sequel that never got localized.
ugh,
Very smart.
It's good. That's good property management.
Well, I mean, nobody bought the Fate Extra because it was a PSP game in America.
Right. And it didn't exactly hit while the PSP in America was even remotely hot. Yeah.
War.
But I mean, it's not like there was ever a time where
Raw.
in like 2010 everybody on Earth had soft hacked their PSP.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
What was it? Xeon a billion years ago worked at and he told me the story of how he worked in the electronics department and a fucking family came in to look at PSP games. This was like 2009 or something. I don't remember. And they were looking at the games and the kid's like, I want that game. And his mom just goes, okay, we'll download it and then put it on your PSP when we get home. We don't want to pay for that.
That's the fun. That's fucking
Holy shit.
hysterical.
yeah, that's how much market saturation PSP had.
That's how fucked in the ground that fucking piracy was for that platform.
It was too easy to hack.
Oh yeah, no. What was it? The fact that you could hack it by putting an image on it really shaped how the rest of the PSP, the rest of Sony's platforms went. Like the first hack for it, because I hacked my PSP within 3 months of it launching, just involved putting a PNG or a JPEG on it that had a memory buffer overflow and then injected code into the OS.
That's how I did it.
Yeah, no, it was ridiculously easy.
And I did my 3DS once, and that had like 900 steps, and the PSP had like 3.
You did. Yeah, no, that's true.
This reminds me of when I went into a Walmart to get a Wii, and then they're like, "Hey, what are you gonna use this for?" It's like getting it as a gift. They're like, "You're gonna hack it, right?" And I was like, "No."
I also I bought an external drive explicitly to put Wii games on.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
I was like, "No, I don't plan on hacking this." They're like, it's super easy. You can get this. As I'm leaving the electronics department, they're like, please hack your Wii.
What is wrong with them?
KZ, do you just live like in a weird port town that's full of pirates?
That was when I was in Florida.
Oh,
Oh
yeah,
my God,
okay,
that
so
makes
you
sense.
did. You did.
Yep.
I would like to note Xeon's story also originates from Florida, so Florida has a certain atmosphere. It's called 100%. It's 100% humidity. That's what's doing it. The 100%
Yeah.
humidity drives people mad and makes them steal everything.
Bath salts.
So time for KZ to tell us about all the money he's spent on Fate Grand Order.
Is this true, KZ?
What?
Yeah,
I haven't
Indirectly.
I've never even played it.
I'm making a joke about how all the money you pay for thumbnails goes right into Fate Grand Order.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Okay, hold on.
The guy we commissioned for the Gamer Premonitions logo.
$800 at least.
Oh.
I am vaguely familiar with most of it. I kind of like the original visual novel. I have not watched Fate Zero. Fate Grand Order is a soul-crushing nightmarescape from which no joy can escape. It is
That's like
designed
Big
from the
Girls.
bottom up to be the most horrifically brutal thing imaginable.
But occasionally they release a pretty boy, and then the servers crash.
Here's the thing. Grand Blue Fantasy,
Yeah.
which is the other big one.
Yeah.
In December, they just gave out like if you played in December, you got like anywhere from 150 to 300 free rolls. Fate Grand Order doesn't give you shit. Here's what you get if you shill enough that they get 5 million players within the next 2 weeks. You get 5.
Cool.
Well, rolls.
Oh, yeah.
That one of those rolls could have your waifu.
One of those rolls could have the JPEG you want.
Yeah.
Could have Jalter doing the Fortnite dance.
But here's my big Fate take.
Who wouldn't want that?
I don't care about franchises like Fate until they become a fighting game.
So Grand Blue's gonna go good for you, huh?
What are you talking about? Fate Unlimited Blade Works is on
No,
the PSP.
no.
Oh my God,
no.
there's a fighting game on the PSP for Fate.
There's also one on the PS2, but those don't count.
Why don't those count?
Because I don't like them.
But if we cover them as
Exactly.
content on the channel, then they have to count. Hey, Bob, we need to do an episode of the Weekly Beating for that, so that way they count.
You have to get French bread to make a Fate Grand Order fighting game, and then I'll care.
I mean, that's why Melty Blood is so good. Like, who cares about the rest of that series? Melty Blood's hilarious and amazing.
Yeah, Melty Blood is so good. It's the fucking weirdest thing when I played that for the first time. I was like, why is this so good? What? Because we played it for the first time on the PS2.
No, we played it for the first time when I
PC?
PC.
Yeah, 2004 or 5?
Maybe earlier. It was we were definitely in high school.
It was jank as fuck. But it was just like something about it's really amazing in the dumbest way imaginable. I don't know. I have no opinions on Fate other than it is really funny how people Googling actual historical figures keeps coming up with those fucks.
It's amazing.
That's my
Yep.
favorite thing. People searching for Emperor Nero Claudius, just getting the anime girl, and people are now taking like snapshots of their history classes in college where the professors Google some historical figure and get an anime girl.
yeah,
Umu.
Astolfo has been the best one, I think.
Well, Astolfo, at least Astolfo wasn't a real person.
Right.
I watched Fate anime once. I watched Fate Zero and the Unlimited Blade Works one. I liked it. That's about it.
This is from the RPG dude. Howdy, Big Think Dimension crew.
Howdy.
Hope you are doing good and are excited for this upcoming week of some good old video games. My question this week is, since we will be seeing some video game movies coming out this year like Detective Pikachu and Sonic the Hedgehog, parentheses, close parentheses, is there any video game property you would like to see adapted into a movie? The movie can be live action, animated, etc.
Monster Hunter.
I would...
Resident
Oh
Evil
my
again.
God.
Resident Evil again. I need 7 of them.
The chapter wasn't
That's
final
apparently
enough.
getting made into a Netflix show.
I actually am pretty down for a Netflix show based on Resident Evil, but I'm also the guy who owns 6 Resident Evil films. Actually, I own all of them. Let me put it that way. I own all of them. I guess I don't own the CG ones.
Oh yeah, the CG ones. Those are actually
Those are
pretty
good movies.
Yes.
Well, one of them's a good movie. The other one,
All I know about the Resident Evil CG movies is the scene where Chris and the other guy are shooting each other, but like rolling around and doing cartwheels,
Yep.
and they're like 5 feet apart.
Mm-hmm. It's
Yes, they are Kino. Was there some other question you had?
Correct.
My choice would be I would like a Fatal Fury movie made competently and simply. I think the problem with every fighting game movie is they get way too complicated for no reason when they all just need to be Enter the Dragon.
I don't know what game properties actually would work well as a movie. I mean, at some point, you're asking for a Last of Us movie, you're gonna get burned. Like, that's not gonna go well.
That's why I said Fatal Fury, because it only kind of has 4 protagonists, and then you just do a real simple plot.
Well, technically, you only need 2 protagonists for The Last of Us to work as a film, but they would still fuck it up.
Well, yeah, that's because The Last of Us doesn't have as The Last of Us is predicated on them bonding, which requires longer than 90 minutes.
I disagree. I think you can make a 2-hour and 20-minute film, because films often are that long. You can do that and absolutely get the bonding across. I think the problem is you have to have good dialogue, and modern Hollywood isn't exactly the best at that. Oh man, Bob,
This is like one of those monkey paw sort of questions.
yeah,
Like,
I feel like no
what
matter
it is, it'll be
no matter
bad,
what you say, it's going to show up on the Cursed Content Club.
right?
I
I think a Devil May Cry movie could be good.
Breakdown.
Breakdown's already.
I want
It's already that good.
Oh, it is already a movie. It's The Matrix.
Yes.
Oops.
Oops.
The Bouncer, is that a good movie? Fodder?
Yeah. I mean, I wanted to make a Bouncer film. I feel like I want someone else to do it. That's way easier. Someone should make a film based on the Bouncer.
But Bob, it says right on the back. It's already a movie. It says right on the back, play the action movie.
It does actually
Oh, man.
say that.
Oh well, that's out of the box.
It
too.
does. I've looked at the box a lot and spit on it.
I feel like you could make an Ace Combat movie really easily because it would just have to be Top Gun.
I feel like it's not easy to make a good air combat in a film. Like, I feel like it's really easy to make a boring air combat scene. So I don't know that I would sign up for Ace Combat. I want a Castlevania film. I don't want a Castlevania animated series for Netflix. Can I make that? Can I get that? I would like that.
We already have a good one of those.
No, we don't.
Yeah, they're gonna do Curse of Darkness in season 3.
Season 2 was great. Fantastic, even.
Really? I heard season 2 was a massive disappointment, and that season 1 was much better. And that season 2 would better be served as being 2.5 episodes long.
Whoever said that probably has a cold, dead heart. They probably don't even like Frozen.
They probably don't.
So, what do we think? How do we think that Illumination Mario movie's gonna turn out?
No matter what, it's going to turn out better than Sonic.
Yeah, Nintendo wouldn't let anything that bad happen.
Okay, but they let the first Mario movie.
They
happen.
did, and that was
That
like
was a
20
very
years
different
ago.
Nintendo. I think the modern Nintendo and the Nintendo since then was crafted by the experience of making that Mario movie.
Yeah, true. I
It's
feel
going to
like
play it incredibly safe, and it'll be fine.
they're watching a test screening and there's like a fart joke, and a silent Japanese man just walks out of the testing theater and we hear a gunshot and he comes back. It's like, have you ever heard the stories of when Shigeru Miyamoto was helping with Metroid Prime?
No.
And he'd just go on this enormous rant in Japanese for like 5 minutes and knock over chairs and shit. And the translator would be like, Mr. Miyamoto is very displeased.
Yeah.
I don't like how you're making such a good video game.
No, Miyamoto's hilarious. He thinks Donkey Kong Country, like all of them, are dog shit. He fucking hates them.
He's like, you guys are only obsessed with graphics.
Yeah,
How dare you make a better 2D platformer than any of mine?
I mean, the thing with me is I don't think
Correct.
Super Mario World is better than Super Mario 3. So when you look at the Super NES, how it had Super Mario World and then Yoshi's Island at the very end of it, and then the Genesis had 3 Sonic games, each one getting, really good. Sonic 3 Knuckles, I guess you can count. So 4 ? I just think about like, damn, that sucks. We should have gotten a better Mario on the SNES, I feel.
We got those Donkey Kong games. That was fine.
I mean, Donkey Kong Country 2 is amazing. Yeah. And I think Donkey Kong Country 1 was also an amazing game.
Donkey Kong Country 3, great.
Yeah, 1 happens to be the worst one because 3 is fantastic as well.
3? The third one?
They made? Nah, they didn't go to 3. That'd be crazy.
Yeah, they did.
No,
It's much better than 1.
It's spectacular. It has tight controls and so many different types of gameplay. There's a snowball fight mode.
I hear
That sounds awful.
I hear we might have to give that game a chance.
Haven't we done that?
You're gonna have to give that
No,
game
we
a
didn't.
chance.
We literally just streamed it for a bit and shit on it, and God King executive producer Vincent Poverk was like, "I like this game."
I also like that game.
No, really.
It's probably
yeah.
fine. Like that's.
I mean, it's got neat, interesting ideas
Like,
for levels.
Like, I played 1, 2, and 3, and I look at 1 and I go, why would you play this one when those other 2 exist?
That is the correct take.
That's bullshit.
Because
No,
because
that's
Donkey
bullshit.
Kong is just Kiddy Kong anyway. Like, they're both basically the same, except Kiddy Kong has the cool water skipping technique that has a high skill ceiling.
Also, I can look at Donkey Kong for an extended period of time and not get frustrated by how annoying
Just
he
because
looks.
you're afraid of babies.
Once again, Dan is intimidated by Kiddy Kong's Chad aura.
Yep, it's a Chad aura.
Kiddy
They
Kong
got really...
does not
You
have
go
a Chad
to the
aura.
Northern Cremisphere in Donkey Kong Country 3. Great soundtrack. Varied levels.
Yeah, Donkey Kong Country 3 has really good music. You know what has better music, though? 2.
You get the mad scientist version of K. Rool, who is incredible.
Yep. Baron K. Rulenstein.
Look, there's
with
something...
his robot Chaos. With
There's
a K.
something to be said for the classic aura around Donkey Kong Country 1. It being the first of its
There is,
kind.
until you're about 2 hours in and you go, I'd rather play a better Donkey Kong Country game.
If you're 2 hours in and you still haven't beaten it, I completely understand why you wish you were playing a different game.
Is it that short? I thought
It
for
is
sure
not
it had
that
like
short.
40 levels.
Well, Bob, I know what our next live stream is.
Oh no.
It's titled, Is Donkey Kong Country 1 Shorter Than 2 Hours?
I feel like some of those
You're
minecart
gonna get
stages are
stuck
gonna.
on some of those fuck you levels, and you're gonna be like,
Yeah.
no, we can't let Casey be right.
It has the same energy as Crash Bandicoot 1, where it's like, here's 71 ups, and then you're like, why are they giving me so 1 ups? And then you get to that one level, it's like, oh,
Oh, I died.
Also,
I
the
remember that.
completion in that is hilarious.
Oh,
where
no,
you've
that's
gotta
fucked up.
Go
It
through
is
the
just
different. You have to
fucked.
go through the minigame doors, but then the last one that you always forget is that there is a minigame door inside a minigame.
Yep. And what was it? There's one thing where you only have one chance to get that door per run of the game. 1.
I like 3 a lot. Three's real good. 2's better.
2's the best.
yeah.
I
2 is
bounced around
better.
for a little bit. 3 is like a collectathon game before they got really bad with
Yeah,
it.
it's like a N64 collectathon game, but on the Super Nintendo.
It's before they scaled up and just went insane with them.
What do you mean, KZ? Don't you like collecting 100 bananas with 5 different characters on every single level in the game?
Donkey Kong 64 is a video game I've played before.
Oh, that's quite the opinion. Very strong.
I mean, I've never beaten it, so I can't say I hold much, like,
See,
any
if
regard.
there's one part of Donkey Kong 64 that makes me like, fuck this game.
Everything.
And that is when they're like, beat the arcade version of Donkey Kong on 1 life.
Why would they do that?
You have to do that to get into the final boss.
Gotta get the coin.
That was my favorite part of Donkey Kong 64. The
Yeah.
part where it just has the original Donkey Kong in
Because
it.
you're a broken man.
No, because Donkey Kong 64 is so bad, I would rather deal with that.
Some parts are fun.
Yeah, I love 10 frames per second slow motion.
I really enjoy the final boss of Donkey Kong 64. I think it's one of the better final bosses of that
I
generation.
mean, it really is most of K. Rool's moveset. Donkey Kong 64 is a shocking amount of K. Rool's moveset in Smash Bros.
Yeah, he's got the punch.
He's got the punch, he's got the final smash, he's got at least 1 or 2 other things I can't remember.
Yeah, a lot of stuff is from. I love that his recovery is just from 3.
I still remember the end of that boss fight where Funky Kong, who has become a arms dealer in Donkey Kong 64, comes out with a bazooka with a boot on the end and just shoots it at his ass.
That's a good game.
No, but you know, it's whatever.
It's a good
fine.
game by virtue of that. It's not like a good game where I can unironically say it, like Banjo-Tooie. But you know,
The funny thing about collectathon games is how when they ramp up to crazy tiers of collectathon is how they keep inventing currencies for you to collect. So in a way, they're like weird microtransaction games long before that was a thing, where they're like, oh, you have this many, Jinjos, and you need this many bananas and musical notes, and then you can collect these coins, and then you spend those coins on these doors to open them to unlock more levels. And, you could just...
That's how fucking Ukulele is, and it made me want to kill myself after playing it for like an hour.
Yeah, Ukulele
the
was...
there is like collecting the note equivalent in that game is that in Kazooie and Tooie, they would position the collectibles in a way that you would naturally find them.
Yeah, did you ever play Ukulele at all, either of you, Dan or Bob?
Yeah, we played it for about an hour.
They just don't care when they place
no, they
whatever the
did care.
collectibles are.
They fucking did care, but they do shit like if you circumvent our geometry and get to this tiny little ledge underneath a cliff hanging off the edge of oblivion that no rational human being would ever get to, there is one coin equivalent there that you need for 100% completion.
It's basically the impossible coin from the Pan and Koek 2012 Super Mario 64 videos, but it's intended. They're like,
yes,
this,
or that fucking coin in Donkey Kong 64 where there's no prompt and you just kind of do a shockwave and it comes out of the ground.
Yep. God damn it,
man. I've never had an affinity for rare 3D platformers. I feel like they're probably the worst thing.
I enjoyed them to a degree. Tooie is my limit on bullshit in one of those.
I never played Tooie. I enjoy Banjo and Kazooie. I didn't.
It's kind of a Metroidvania at points.
I didn't play it until it came out on the Xbox 360, and I played through it, and I'm like, that's a perfectly acceptable video game.
We gotta move on at some point to the next email, but here's the last rare thing I want to talk about. Does anyone here have any opinions on Iron Sword or the Wizards and Warriors series?
No.
Okay.
No.
That's what I figured, but I figured I would ask. Bob, what's your opinion of Iron Sword?
It has a great theme song we keep using.
Yeah, well, I feel like we haven't used it enough recently.
It's true.
That's tragic. I'm going to have to work that into the Stream Deck. Just have a button right next to it to mute the game, and then push that. It's a really good theme.
Liv Moss.
Yeah, Liv Moss was the best layout I've ever goddamn made.
Yep.
But
I spit Diet Dr. Pepper all over my floor because you suddenly cut to the fucking skeleton during that stream.
I love the one where you scream and just keep hitting it.
And then you're like, when does it end? And I go, 45 minutes from now. And you scream in anguish again.
That was the roughest stream I've ever done. I feel like Lords of Shadow 2 was an easier stream than those movies.
You lived.
So let's move on to the next question.
Yeah, go ahead.
The first half of this person's 2 questions is them shaming me.
Oh, how dare they?
Oh man, who do they think they are, KZ?
Is Mr. Fields still playing Final Fantasy XIV? I know he used to make tweets about it before, and I was still just curious if he was still playing it. Does he plan on switching from a cat boy to a bunny once the next expansion comes out? I haven't booted it in a long time. I got stuck on the last story mission from the base game because they implemented the single worst thing that I have ever seen an MMO implement. So the story in Final Fantasy XIV has cutscenes.
Oh no, I know. I'm pretty sure I know what happened to you.
And right as I got to the point where I needed to do the last dungeon in the main game store, the base game story, they pushed out a patch to make all the cutscenes unskippable because people were like, "There's a ton of cutscenes in this dungeon." So people running it for the first time basically don't get to do the dungeon because the other 7 players will rush ahead and do the entire dungeon while the cutscenes are playing. And Square Enix's solution was to make those cutscenes unskippable for everybody. And there's like 45 minutes of cutscenes in that dungeon, so it just became impossible to do that dungeon.
My first time going through that was before that patch, so I assumed you just went through that nightmare of just being trapped.
I might go back now because I think they just updated it again where it's like, now you can do it solo.
Yeah, because you can go through it like that. When I got to the second cutscene of the many in there, when it ended, it warped me to the final boss because they were already there. And people were like, dude, you missed this really cool section where you're like riding these things and there's this other encounter.
Yeah, you're riding Magitech armors and stuff.
Yeah, there's like a bunch of cool stuff. It just skipped all that because they just brute forced their way to the end because they got to get those credits.
I won't switch. I'll just roll an alt to answer the second one, because at the last big Final Fantasy 14 event, they announced the new expansion, and the Yoshi P was like, and we have a new race, but I'm not going to show it to you yet. And then he turned around and like thumbed at the back of his shirt, which was a Bugs Bunny shirt.
It's like when Dark Knight was getting hinted and he had a Batman shirt.
What is wrong with this guy?
Yeah.
He can do whatever the fuck he wants. He turned Final Fantasy 14 from a complete failure into Square Enix's most profitable product.
That's why the CEO of Square came out in like a wizard outfit to promote Blue Mage.
And he continues to make the game really good despite having no budget. Here's the fucked up thing about Final Fantasy 14. It makes the most money of any of Square Enix's shit, and none of that money goes in development. They get the cash shop money, and that's it.
Ugh.
There's still some really impressive stuff they do with encounters in that.
Yeah, it's great. Did you know that Phantom Train is a boss in Final Fantasy 14?
All that stuff sounds really neat. Too bad it's all trapped in an MMO I'll never play.
You can listen to the incredible remixes.
There's some really good music in that game.
I was
Like
gonna say,
800 songs.
Are they
Some of
still
them
just
are
stolen Power Mount songs?
No, not every
Yes.
song. Wait, what? I actually had a longtime viewer go full tilt on me because I was like, no, that song is blatantly stolen.
It is.
I mean, it is. Like, they
Listen to it with your ears.
They started deeply entrenching into, this is a sentence they said, there is no way that the composer of Final Fantasy XIV listened to Power Man. And I'm like, let me just look up any information. Oh, look, he was really into that genre of music at the time.
Didn't that happen with Andre 3000 too? There was an Andre 3000 song that ended up in
I heard it
in a Final Fantasy 14 thing.
Yeah, that's what I heard, but I'm not like, look, When Worlds Collide is a very dope song.
I wouldn't be surprised they made a similar sounding song that's just This Is Halloween.
Anyway, here's the second half of this person's question. This one is for everyone. What game has your favorite character creator system? What is your character creator style? Do you try to make someone resembling yourself or create an absolute monstrosity? Much love from a gigabrain in training, Fidel. I don't have a favorite, but I abhor any character creator with sliders.
Why?
Because I just think it's so difficult to make anything that looks unique and nice with the sliders.
I feel like the Mass Effect games let me create a very horrifying looking man. And it was really delightful to go around the little amount that I played Mass Effect as the most hideous man in the universe.
That's just how you end up with any character in those games.
Yeah.
I like Soul Calibers.
Everyone's Mass Effect character is the most hideous thing ever concocted.
But some people are convinced it's beautiful.
I have like a stable of characters that I will always make, and it's usually based on what play style I'm going to use or what alignment I'm going to be.
Unfortunately, our Mass Effect 2 quick play or 3, I can't remember, was wiped off the face of the planet, so no one will ever get to see in 2019 the world's most hideous man that Eric and I made.
Sad.
I'm sure it was pretty.
It was beautiful.
When I go to a character creator, I usually don't think about it all that much. I kind of am frustrated that I need to sit down and think of a character, so I end up going like full on strong bad and like, nah, he's gotta have blue hair.
Yeah, Bob just tries to make Botan or Sakura from Street Fighter.
I like the Xenoverse character creators. I think they're a little bit too limited still, even for what I'd want from Dragon Ball, but I think they're pretty good.
I enjoyed the Dragon's Dogma character creator. There wasn't a ton of different things you could do, but they had some neat looks to it.
I also remember the God Eater 2 one being okay, and it having a surprising amount of customization.
Yeah, the God Eater games let you make some real anime dudes.
I like testing the limits of them to see if I can like recreate specific stuff.
Yeah, seeing what people have done with Soul Calibers is pretty crazy.
Yeah, that's probably my favorite one.
The Magikarp.
Yes.
Yes.
The Scarab was pretty good too.
Or the guy who made a helicopter.
What?
He made a costume where if you do not Yoshimitsu. Is it Yoshimitsu?
Yeah, it's Yoshimitsu.
Where if you do Yoshimitsu's helicopter move, he just looks like a helicopter.
Yeah, I've seen that. It was incredible looking.
I saw an apple.
People get so angry on that game that they let you use those online because it just ruins competitive nature when you can't see anything about the character.
Yeah, and I totally understand
Yeah,
that.
they need to disable that.
Yeah, it's like somebody putting a screen cap up like, what am I supposed, this isn't ranked, what am I supposed to do with this? And the opponent was a character called the Cube.
Yes.
It's just a cube.
The cube.
Yeah, I don't think they should allow that in online
should.
play or ranked
the
anyway.
front date on
it's
Cube?
fun.
It's absurd.
It's fine and casual, but in ranked, they need to be like, no.
I've been thinking this whole time, and I can't think of a character creator that I really enjoyed outside of Tony Hawk. So I guess I'm gonna go with the Tony Hawk one because it's always fun. I did enjoy Saints Row the Third's character creator. I think the options they gave you let you make things other than hideous people.
You could also have Steel Skin, which is always great.
Steel Skin is always fucking dope.
Saints Row 2's was actually pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean Saints Row 3 was actually a pretty good character creator. A shame about the rest of the game.
I didn't play it that long. Yeah.
Yeah.
But hey,
It's
guys.
definitely no Donkey Kong Country 3.
Saints Row 2 is like incredible and probably my favorite open world crime game. And then Saints Row 3 is like the ironic hipster version of Saints Row.
But isn't it hilarious?
And everyone said that's when the series got good.
Yep.
Do you like how there's an entire voice set that's just Nolan North being Nolan North, and he says things like, "Hey, I'm Nolan North."
Okay, I like
yeah,
that.
I like that too.
I like that actually.
But I also liked melting Worf's face off in Saints Row 2. That was great.
Yeah, but I also like Nolan North. We need to have a medium here.
My other answer is every single Korean MMO. I wish those character creators were in real games.
Yeah, the Black Desert one's pretty insane.
The Black Desert one is ridiculous. So the last question we've got, it's actually 2 questions from Tectonic Improv. What's a game that you like that could be considered a spiritual successor to another favorite of yours? Dan has that. He loves Mighty Number 9. For example, I've got Dark Cloud on the mind recently, and I see a lot of comparisons between that game and ActRaiser. Another example would be Super Adventure Island 2, which is very similar to Zelda 2. That's true, it is. Super Adventure Island 2 is pretty cool. Mine would be Shantae being a spiritual successor to Monster World, which is kind of weird because I played most of those games after Shantae, but I still really think it is a good successor to that series.
This is rough. This requires research.
All spiritual successors are sin. There has never been a good one.
Hey, Dan, you like Kingdom Hearts, right?
Yes, I like.
What about Secret
Kingdom
Mana?
Hearts. Oh, Secret of Mana is a good game. I guess I like Kingdom Hearts as a spiritual successor to Secret of Mana. And what do you
could say Bloodstained, Dan?
see? That's the weird thing, though, because when you say spiritual successor, it implies that some level it's not as authentic as the original. But when you got Curry the Kid doing your enemy AI and Iga heading the whole thing, it might as well just say Castlevania on the box.
But people still said that about Mighty Number 9.
But that's the thing, though. The only person who came over for that was fucking Iga. And yeah, I like Inti Creates handled a lot of the spin-offs, but at the same time, the spin-offs were even more tenuous than the phrase spiritual successor. I don't know. Either way, I see where you're coming from, and I will agree that Kingdom Hearts as a spiritual successor to Secret of Mana and Bloodstained as a spiritual successor to Castlevania are the only 2 good spiritual successors ever.
BioShock's all right, the first one.
The Valkyria profile inspiring Indivisible. Indivisible's not out yet, but what I played is amazing.
The
that
demo's
was
fucking
really good.
incredible. I mean, I said Bloodstained a second ago, so yeah, of course, Indivisible would count. They're both coming out this year.
Right.
And for some reason, both of them have this dumbass meme that is, oh man, that game looks really questionable. I'm not sure it's happening. I don't know why the fuck those are the 2 most guaranteed games to come the fuck out on any crowdfunding platform ever, you fucking morons. It's so dumb.
Oh my.
It's so fucking dumb. It's like, these are people who are very experienced with managing budgets, super conservative, stick to a design document, and work really fucking hard. Ugh.
I've got a couple.
Okay, go.
The Quiet Man is a good spiritual successor to the Bouncer.
How would you know? You've never played the Bouncer.
They both look bad, so it has to match.
You're a monster.
All right.
You will regret your words because the Bouncer is Kino.
Yakuza for Shenmue.
Yes, that's, you know what? That's the best one, KZ, because Yakuza is good and Shenmue is a chore.
But see, when people say, and I don't know if Fox even listens to these. When people say, we'll find out. When people say Yakuza is the spiritual successor to Shenmue, that's kind of like that dragon is a spiritual successor to that newt over there.
People like the weird thing about
power.
This is Shenmue fans get super upset when you say that.
What, the spiritual successor thing?
Because it's true.
They just like, no, they won't accept it. They will not accept that Yakuza is a spiritual successor.
I just picked those two because they seem pretty similar in a lot of the stuff they do.
You want to know what the
quirks.
difference between Yakuza and Shenmue is? Yakuza is a video game.
I know, right?
Man. I've never played Shenmue, so there's no proof it's a video game, so you're correct.
Shenmue fans are like, how can I enjoy Yakuza if I don't have to drive a forklift?
I mean,
forklifts are cool.
You're not wrong. That's part of that game, and Yakuza doesn't have it yet.
Odin Sphere being a spiritual successor to Princess Crown.
That's easy. That's an easy get.
I'm going to go ahead and say Mega Man 6 being a spiritual successor to Mega Man 3. That's going to be...
I mean, if we're doing...
Would you like to elaborate on that, Dan?
I mean, it's the same director. I see one as a continuation of the other. I mean, Vanillaware made both, kind of, right?
Yeah.
Can I do a bad one, like where the spiritual successor is abysmal, that isn't Mighty Number 9? Has there ever been a bigger downgrade in history than Prince of Persia to Assassin's Creed?
You know, it is fucking staggering that we were able to staff most, if not all, of a podcast with people who hold 90% of the same opinions that are nowhere near normal accepted opinions. Like what you said.
Prince of Persia's great.
What you said. Yes,
Prince of Persia is great.
Prince of Persia is great, but in most circles, saying that Assassin's Creed is a giant downgrade from that would get you fucking skewered. And yet everyone on this podcast wholeheartedly agrees with what you said.
I feel like so many people, even people who play Assassin's Creed, hate Assassin's Creed at this point.
I think their fanaticism generally blinds them to a lot of it. I think they still wouldn't accept what you said.
They wouldn't know what Prince of Persia was.
I think they would hate you because you have told them the truth. You should bring that Twitter name back.
The truth is scary.
Yeah, no, that's a pretty bad downgrade. Let's see. Can I say Castlevania Curse of Darkness is a really bad spiritual successor to Castlevania 64?
You should play them again on stream.
I'm like,
it doesn't have nearly enough bad platforming.
I was gonna say, like, that's a pretty good upgrade, I think.
I just remembered Gunstar Heroes because it had the programmers from Contra 3.
Yeah, Wait, I thought they were from Hardcore.
Nope. I mean, they might have gone back to Konami to make Hardcore, but two of the big programmers from Contra 3 made Gunstar Heroes.
I mean,
worked on it, rather.
Gunstar is really good. Basically only beaten out by Alien Soldier in my book, but that's because I love a video game that will eschew the structure of having a normal platforming level just to be like, here's our designed bosses. Like, that's why I like Shadow of the Colossus. That's why I like Alien Soldier. They both just go, the level being a normal mechanic you're engaging with, being a traditional level, fuck that. Boss rush. I really like that. So yeah, Alien Soldier, Gunstar, really good. What?
Gunstar to Freedom Planet.
Yeah, can I do the downgrade one? Let's say Gunstar, Rystar, or Sonic to Freedom Planet, because all three of those are that entire game.
Let's just say Treasure to Freedom Planet.
Yeah, Treasure
Freedom
to
Planet really wants to be Sonic plus every single Treasure game.
Yeah, but don't.
I didn't beat it, so I don't even know. But I'm stunned that. So if it does have one of these, fuck me.
Yeah.
But I'm stunned Freedom Planet doesn't have a shooter level.
It actually doesn't.
Yeah, strangely
Not
enough.
that I know of.
Saving that for two,
no,
I guess.
Me and Dan have played that fully through.
I beat that game as every fucking character. I have every achievement except for one. That I fucking hate that game. Whatever. The game's okay. It's fine.
Final boss is awful.
The thing that I hated about the critical coverage of Freedom Planet wasn't necessarily that people were like, it's all right. It's that people are like, man, it's so much better than Sonic has ever been. And it's like, fucking shit, guys.
No, it isn't.
I get that you all have a boner for saying Sonic is bad for whatever reason. But Jesus,
We have to own Sonic.
We have to own Sonic.
I generally like Freedom Planet, or at least I'm not hostile to it, but it's not as good as Sonic 3 and Knuckles, or even Sonic 2.
Yeah, it's not as good as Sonic 2. I mean, the problem is that like Sonic 3 had something like, what was it, 17 composers? So trying to hold any game soundtrack up to Sonic 3's is really hard.
Especially since one of them was, according to who you talk to, Michael Jackson.
Oh, well, I mean, his writing staff is all over it and officially credited, so it doesn't even matter who you talk to. It might as well just be a Michael Jackson joint, because multiple of the official... yeah, what's up?
Here's a good spiritual successor. Star Citizen to Wing Commander.
What have you done?
I mean, it is really neat when a game can elevate past the status of just being a game into the only scam bigger than crypto.
You know, I have a bad spiritual successor.
Okay, do it.
Star Wars Battlefront for Star Wars Battlefront.
Yeah, no,
Man.
that's fair.
That's possibly the worst.
That should have been such an easy win, right?
That should have been a slam dunk, and they fucked it twice.
Dude, I don't even know where they found an L that big.
That's not a moon, that's an L.
It's so depressing. Oh.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Vanillaware is good at these because Dragon's Crown is also a spiritual successor to the
Dungeons and Dragons. arcade
Dungeons and
games.
Dragons games.
Like Chronicles of Mystara. Can you tell I like those games?
They make really good games.
Yeah.
And 13 Sentinels doesn't exist.
It's true.
It exists. It'll be out and we'll all love it. Oh, here's another bad one. Bravely Default to Final Fantasy.
The sad thing is, it's still the best of those. Like the best of the, oh man, let's try and do Final Fantasy. It's still not great, but at least it has its moments.
I have no opinion on Bravely Default. I just am sad that that game didn't come out on a non-3DS platform.
Yeah, the art's great.
The art is
I
great.
almost came up with a spiritual successor, but it doesn't count. I was just going to say Dragon Quest Builders is better than Minecraft.
Well, it is. I mean,
It
that's
is.
not wrong.
Yeah.
I find it much more engaging because it's third person.
You know what? Here's one. The PS2 is the best spiritual successor to the Sega Saturn. Darren, that doesn't make any sense. Well, it's time for me to talk about system design. Now, how many people here know how many CPUs are in the Sega Saturn? Raise your hand. Anyone?
That's a shame, Dan, but we have to go on to the second half of this person's email.
Oh, no.
The second
what a
half of
shame.
Tectonic Improv's email.
Oh, jeez.
When was the hardest you all have ever pushed yourselves to finish something? This is inspired by Dan's ludicrous behavior last week, which probably isn't even what he will use as the answer for this question.
Well, to be fair, working on the podcast, because this last week, excluding today, because today is when it starts, I was working the normal amount I did at my job, but I took on the 2 podcast shows and handling other stuff. I passed out at my desk 3 times in 1 week. I pulled
It was
2
a long podcast.
I pulled 2 overnighters, where it's you do your job, you go home and work on the channel, and then you go back to your job. So yeah, it's honestly hard to think of anything else because much else beyond that would literally kill me.
Yeah, I was like, is this question like game specifically? Because maybe
No. It's just as a person.
Just
He's
as a-
asking you as an individual. Bob, is there a point in time where you pulled two overnighters in 1 week?
no. Luckily,
What's the furthest you pushed yourself, though?
I try not to think about that.
Bob's like, this last week? I don't know.
I mean, that Kingdom Hearts stream for God, what was that one? I think it was 2 where I work.
You looked dead in the morning.
Yeah, no, I woke up, started that stream, then got maybe 40 minutes of sleep and went to work.
Uh-huh.
And
Yeah, you did.
Came
You
back
woke
here.
up, went to work, came back, did the stream, slept for 40 minutes, and then woke up and walked in on the stream for a little bit for Kingdom Hearts 2.
yeah, that was rough.
That was
And the
rough.
worst part of that is I have a 30-minute drive each way.
Yeah. Yeah,
Good Lord.
not safe.
Not safe at
Not
all.
safe.
So this isn't a worked myself into the ground thing. Well, not in the sleep sense, but doing something because somebody needed me to help them with a problem with a friend. It was like, can you come fix this horrible problem with my home so I don't die? And I'm like, okay. And I worked well beyond the point I should have just said, you need to call somebody who has more human beings than one. So I did it, but like the next day I was so incredibly sore I couldn't even move almost.
That actually reminds me of what I would probably put in second place. I went out and for exposure filmed a ad for a thing for some other guy. So it required me lugging around my camera on some shoulder mount on like metal rails and in a metal cage for something like, I don't know, 10 hours straight or something like that. All on the shoulders, basically no tripod the entire time. That was exhausting as fuck. I'm really glad that I sort of got back at the guy by handing him hundreds of gigs of files, and I'm like, oh yeah, no, you got me to film it. Here you go. Because normal people might have handed him some sort of compressed format. I filmed it raw.
Dan always has that shirt that says, I only film in RAW.
No, people who wear I only shoot raw shirts still kind of, I do remember when I saw that shirt and I was like, why would you only film in raw? And then I realized it was still photography and I was like, oh, okay, that's a lot more sane. But yeah, no, it's probably that, because holding your arms up like that to hold a camera in the exact position you need it for that fucking long, running around, it was for a theme park. Like, we have a theme park locally we were filming an ad for, and I'm just running around this entire fucking theme park filming this guy going around. But yeah, no, that was exhausting as hell. KZ, do you have an answer?
There are a lot of situations I find myself when it comes to video work where I've made horrible mistakes.
Sometimes I only get 12 hours of sleep.
And that's rough, Phil. You need to understand it's very rough. But it's usually, I'm trying to remember, a lot of times I'll end up going, okay, I need to get this done by this time. And then I find some insane way to add more work within that timetable.
Sound familiar,
like
Bob?
me going, oh, I want to finish this specific project in time for Kingdom Hearts 3. So I'll just make the videos I'm doing now double the length on top of how much longer it takes to do them, and I'll just get it done faster.
I'm also reminded of when we did that contest for the Little Big Planet karting commercial.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
That was some rough.
Yeah, if you...
This will go by twice as fast. Local man is wrong.
Yes.
Yeah, if you guys search up, it should just come up under like Little Black Rocket Chair Race. I think that'll bring it up. I don't know. You can find out. We had to crunch insanely hard to get that done on time with brand new equipment we bought just for that. And it's a good thing we like took second place, because second place was the first rank that actually paid out.
Right.
If I remember correctly. So we made our money back on the equipment we bought, but Jesus Christ, what an experience. That also makes me think of Watch, though. Like that pilot we did for...
How many times we were like, okay, we can only get the filming happening a week before it happens.
Yeah, we only find out about these competitions within like a week of when it's due. And then it's like, okay, I'll hammer out a script. Okay, we'll take this camcorder, go film the test filming. And then, yeah, no, it's insane. How many times have we done that?
Many.
And then of course, there's our themed months. Those should count. Like Mega May's a nightmare. Sonic month was a nightmare. Like everything's a fucking nightmare. So yeah, no.
God.
Everything.
I'm still clutching my pearls whenever you talk about Mega May.
It was dire.
Yeah, I don't think either of us slept more than 2 hours a night most of that month.
Yeah, most of that month it was something like that, which is why our channel basically died for the first 2.5 weeks after June started.
What's great is I would see videos go up at like 4 a.m. or something like that.
Yep.
And at the time I'm like, oh neat, they have different upload schedules, I guess, for their European audience. And now I know what that actually means. It means that video is complete.
It's not necessarily as like hitting the physical limit, but the first time I tried to run the YouTube channel full time, I really pushed myself to like a financial and like emotional limit, because working nonstop on a channel and constantly stressing yourself out about what content to make when you don't exactly have a way to cover a lot of stuff. Like we didn't have certain devices we have nowadays to help us play obscure games. And my car broke down. Like it just completely destroyed me. So like, I don't know, maybe this channel is just a really long history of me pushing myself to the limit nonstop for like 8 years.
A hammer to your dick.
Yeah, basically for 8 years straight, and it's starting to work out. So thank you all for your support.
Dan, you're not like Catholic, and you just never mentioned it, are you?
No, I am not Catholic, but good guess.
Well, that about wraps up the questions. I guess we need to talk about what y'all are doing on your channels.
Well, I'm
What
not
about you?
I'm not sure if we'll get to Phil in a moment. You know, he's got a lot of things to remember and write down.
You're right.
Well, not sure if you guys have heard about it, but there was this Xbox original game called Breakdown. We have a video coming out whenever YouTube decides to finally process that, called Giving Games a Chance Breakdown. I'm starting to believe YouTube's never going to process this file and that it's cursed, because during the process of recording this podcast, I re-uploaded the whole thing and it still has not processed. So that's going to happen at some point. We're going to do some Resident Evil 2 live stream on Friday, the day this goes up, hopefully. What else do we have coming up, Bob? Bob may beat Mega Man 2 on Sunday. We'll just have to see.
If I do, it'll be
And he's
late.
got that Bayonetta review coming out.
Oh, that's right. That
Yeah.
Bayonetta video. Sorry about
My
that.
God, I'm going to actually have to make this, aren't I, guys?
It's
No,
gonna
it's
come
fun.
up every
it's,
episode.
It's
of this
funnier
podcast.
if you just never do, because Dan will eventually get the Mighty Number 9 review out. So we always have to have one thing that's never going to come out.
Right. That's important. What else? Also, if everything goes according to plans and nothing explodes and people die, we should have a new episode of Gamer Premonitions up Wednesday. And what else? That should be it. From us. We're probably gonna do stuff that I haven't said here, but it's gonna be by the seat of our pants sort of thing. I mean, I know I'm getting Kingdom
With the
Hearts 3
Anthem
on
Let's
Monday.
Play coming out.
The Anthem Let's Play. Probably when the game comes out, you know, we're gonna be there from day one,
Yep.
doing our completely miserable Catholic-inspired Anthem Let's Play. KZ's gonna join
I
us.
just want you guys to do a launch day stream of Anthem, and the goal is just how long until you both give up and play something else.
Feel, I think the Kingdom Hearts stream should have taught you something about me.
Oh no!
I will have to hit the end of Anthem before I just give up and play something else.
I
buy
assume
the
that'll happen
strategy
within
guide.
5 hours.
No, where you both just decide this isn't even worth it for the bit, and then you just switch.
But I think that's it from us. KZ, what do you have coming up?
So this week we'll be wrapping up around this weekend. Be wrapping up my Trails in the Sky second chapter Let's Play. We'll be finishing that up. Starting on Tuesday, we've got Kingdom Hearts 3 happening. I will be knee deep in that. This is coming out on this Friday. I would hope I'll be doing another weekly Smash Bros. Ultimate stream. There might be another Burger King war. Depending on if feels a coward or not.
You're really gonna make me fucking go eat Burger King for the fucking bit. God damn, I'll do.
Yes, I'm really gonna make you buy Burger King so you
Feel,
can eat it
feel,
on stream to
feel.
own Creed.
I don't know if that's gonna happen because I don't like to go out after dark, but I'll definitely eat
Feel,
it tomorrow.
you go and you buy that Burger King and you invoice KZ's ass.
KZ just get.
Never mind.
KZ's just like I'm not gonna spend $4 on a bit.
The fuck is
Correct.
wrong with you? Chicken
You are
fries?
very correct, sir.
You could have gotten like a Whopper Junior. You know, you guys may not believe it. You may think I'm lying. Burger King shows up in Breakdown.
You're just trying to tie things together like that. But yeah, I'll be doing a stream of Smash Bros. On Friday that I'll hopefully be able to make a video out of, just like I did the last couple of weeks. Meanwhile, Dan's still on exile.
It's so bad that Burger King only gets Breakdown, but Taco Bell got Demolition Man, that incredible movie.
That movie's so good.
Bob actually believes that movie is so good.
I like that movie. It's great.
Just like Mystery Men and Good Burger.
Yes, correct. Both of those are excellent films, Dan. I don't know what your joke is, because both of those are unironically delightful.
There's no joke here. I'm just being a
Chewy.
very genuine person
In
right now.
fact, multiple people after the last episode of Cursed Content Club went up, came and said, "Thank you, Mr. Feel. Mystery Men is also one of my favorites."
That's the end of the podcast, isn't it?
Is it?
Oh no.
So we didn't get to ask Mr. Feel what his upcoming content was.
Oh god, this part, don't edit this part at all. Let that rock. Hey, Mr. Feel, what you got going on?
Well, I'm going to not produce anything and instead play Resident Evil 2 as fast as I can before Kingdom Hearts 3 comes out, and I just vanish until that is over so I don't get any spoilers.
Yep.
Yeah,
That's kind of our game plan.
Oh, and I'll probably play Smash with KZ tomorrow.
Maybe.
Also, you need to at least stay on Discord so that when the game's out, I can show you my collection of pictures of Goofy's mouth that I will be doing with that game's camera.
Jesus fucking Christ.
You just have the selfies of...
No, please. No. Thanks for listening to this episode of Big Think Dimension. This show, like our other podcasts, is only possible with the generous time our co-hosts have given to us and the equipment we've bought to make it higher quality and easier to produce. Please consider supporting our podcast series on our upcoming GigaBoots podcast Patreon and look forward to more gamer premonitions and Big Think Dimension in the future. The executive producers for the months of January 2019 are Fitz Pover, Nicholas Cameron, Ely Burrows, Brendan O'Sullivan, Star Falcon, Spaceman Spiff, Danny Richardson, Dryzart, and Wadonis. Thanks, everybody. And also, all their names are gone. If you want to help us make more videos, go over to patreon.com/GigaBoots today. This is a really catchy song.